please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is it working? Hello?
It's only for camera, not.
Oh, okay. So, call to open. Adequate notice of this meeting to be held on September 10th, 2019 at 7 p.m. in Edison Township. The Edison room, third floor, has been provided by publication in the Home News Tribune, the Star Legend, Criterion, Sentinel, Tap into Edison, and to the Municipal Clerk of Edison Township, and WCTC Radio and Cable Vision of Raritan Valley.
Okay. The first order of business will be the approval of minutes of the previous meeting.
Anybody has any question?
Well, I don't know if this is the time I can do it, but I would like to make a resolution or whether a proposal that the actual board have a confidential secretary that works maybe 30 hours a month, so that what's on the film and what's on the minutes kind of match more closely.
I think Sharon, Joyce, we are working on approval of the minutes.
Yes.
Oh, so
I do have one question on the minutes, though.
yes, please go ahead.
It says on here under comments on the second page under number 6 that the board never approved moving to the BCB Bank just to further investigate. I don't think that's accurate. I think the board did approve it. It just had not been done.
That's correct.
Yes.
The board did approve it.
So I think we need to have that corrected.
And again, I say that's why I'm asking.
Oh, you're asking.
I'm
Okay,
asking
sorry,
for
go
a
ahead.
resolution, a proposal for the board to have someone that, not even union related, nonpartisan, that works 30 hours a month.
Well,
to
this
keep
isn't,
up with
I
the
don't,
proper
we're
stuff.
just doing the approvals right now, Joyce. This really
Okay.
isn't a time to be bringing that up. We can discuss that, at another
Okay,
time, I
all
would
right.
think.
I think for
Okay.
that one, can we put the
Obviously,
specific meeting that we voted that one?
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
I don't think we can rely on the meeting minutes here. We should go back to the specific board meeting to check that one. Right?
Well, that's fine, then perhaps Fran could check as to what meeting that we did approve it on, and if not, we can always check ours at home, which I'll be happy to do. And then we can possibly have those adjusted before we approve it. I mean, if you want to approve it today, then I'm just going to say no, but that's up to the rest of the board.
But if you see the film and it says yes, but the minutes say no,
Then the minutes need to be changed to reflect.
all right.
The last month's minutes, not the previous minutes when we actually did approve it, I think is what you're talking about.
I mean, the
These
question is
minutes.
whether we approve it or we
These
vote
minutes
it.
need
These
to be,
minutes.
these minutes
minutes
need
we're
to
looking
be
at now.
adjusted to reflect the fact that the board did approve moving to the bank, to change banks. So this is incorrect.
Okay,
So I guess we
can,
have a legal question.
So is this a subject of what number 2 is, as in,
It's
are the meetings of the
number 6
previous
under
meeting?
comments.
The approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, though, number 2, that can be approved, what you're saying.
The comments in the minutes.
comments in the minutes, she's saying that
Can be
CBC.
corrected.
Right, the
CBC.
question is the comments in the minutes that we feel that it was board approved, that we moved to.
Board never
know,
approved
To adjust them?
moving to BCB.
That's what, that's
Right,
the one
but
that
that-
we have to clarify.
No, we're not questioning number 2, we're questioning
Yeah.
the
Okay.
comment on number 6 on
We're
page
yeah,
questioning
6,
the agenda number
comments.
2. is what
Yeah.
we're saying.
Agenda number 2.
Agenda
Sorry
item
about
number
that.
2.
So do you want to do a motion, to amend the number 6? Is that the idea?
Correct.
Yes, we do, but we cannot amend it
Okay.
until we really verify that that was done. We believe that it was approved, but we would have to check the tapes. or the
Then can
notes.
I guess we could table that for now, is that?
Table the entire approval of the minutes? Or
I think
approve
that
them with just the,
Here is
Approve
my
them with a
suggestion.
caveat? Would that
Okay.
work?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Here
Then
is
I'll
my
make a motion
suggestion.
that we approve, I'll make a motion that we approve the July 9th minutes with the caveat that we need to confirm that the belief that we have that the board did approve to move from TD Bank to BCB Bank, that some of us feel that that was board approved. So we just have to clarify that part.
To the board, I'd like to make a recommendation. We don't need to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, we don't need to approve board minutes at this meeting or even the next meeting. There's no requirement of that. We can actually just wait to revise them all at once and then do it. It's probably easier to go back and check and then revise it with the date. So I would recommend just tabling this for now. There's no harm that's done from that.
Okay, then I will remove my, that and suggest that we table the minutes until we receive confirmation.
Okay, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone
Any against?
opposed?
Unanimous.
Okay.
Okay. That's it for that. The next order of business is unfinished business. We're moving it's number 4 on the list. I know, but per Jane's request, she would like to
Yes.
do unfinished business.
Yeah, floor issue and then.
What?
Because the person
I
has
have one of
to.
my directors here, so we're just skipping the
Oh, you wanna
agenda,
move
so I
it?
don't have to
Okay.
keep.
Yeah, we want to
Okay.
move up the
Oh,
unfinished
okay,
business.
That makes sense.
That's fine.
That makes sense.
Although I
fine.
know he would love to stay here.
Oh, okay, I didn't understand that, all right.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, please, go ahead.
Please.
Township engineering code enforcement. Please come and speak
Please come and
about.
speak.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm John Soltez, I'm the construction official for the Township of Edison.
Is there a microphone?
We can't get a mic high enough for this guy?
No, we don't
No.
have a sound system.
We have to hear you back here.
Project, please.
He'll hear you talk loud.
Project your voice.
We're good?
Pretend you're on stage, project.
Okay, so I'm John Soltez, I'm the construction official for Township of Edison. Okay.
He has one.
No.
The floor issue in the NEA, North Edison and Skyline windows. So these issues, means, can you explain what I understood? You're here to tell us about what is done here, right?
This for the floor at 77 Grove?
Yeah,
Library located
and
there?
North Edison and the Skyline and the window in Clara Barton.
Well, I didn't look at the area of Claire Barton at all. The only thing I went to look at and inspect was the library on Grove Avenue, the floor.
All right, can you please give us information on Grove Avenue then?
Huh?
I just want to hear what you've seen on Grove Avenue.
Well, we went out there, actually last year we started looking at the floor. You go in the front door, you make a left-hand turn, in the back room in the corner, it was actually an addition that was put onto the building years ago. The floor has sunk and settled on the outside wall. It pivoted on the old foundation wall of the old building. So what happened is it raised up about a ½ inch. So the room is maybe the width of this. So on that end of it, okay, it came up about a ½ inch. Okay, so we looked at the old plans, we looked at a lot of things. Years ago, they never really compacted soil underneath the floors. They just filled it up, kind of like ran a rake over it, and they poured the concrete over it. So probably, and at the outside exterior wall of the addition, there's no shelf that was ever made. There was no rods tied into the concrete to hold the floor on the outside from settling. So it's gone down like a little bit, maybe maximum maybe an inch, if that, okay? Because of the length of the slab, it just teetered on the outside wall. So we were talking about a year ago maybe, taking the floor out, taking all the carpet out, tear out the bathrooms. It's a major undertaking. The easiest thing to do, and that's why I got a quote from AG Flooring. They're going to come in, we're going to move some of the bookcases away, drape it in plastic, and then just grind the floor down. like the way they just grind the floor down if they're gonna polish the concrete, like pull 2 sections of carpet up, the carpet blocks, grind the floor smooth, like in maybe about 3 feet away from the crack. And it'll kind of like just taper to the end. You'll never notice it probably when you're walking across the floor anymore. Right now it's kind of a trip hazard, because as you walk across, if you don't really pick your feet up and walk, if you kind of shuffle your feet like most people do, your foot catches on it and you have a tendency to fall.
2 questions. One, what about the bathrooms?
The bathrooms, they've settled like a little bit along the grout, and I don't think the floor is really going any farther than it is. I think it's like wedged in place, okay? If we grind the floor, we put the carpet back, every month or 2 we can go back, we can take a look at it. If the floor is moving, the easiest fix would be like cut a couple holes in the floor along the outside wall, maybe like 16 by 16, dig down till we hit the footing, which is probably maybe 3 foot, 42 inches below the floor, and just pour a concrete pier in there to support the slab in like 3 spots. Because otherwise, if you're looking at tearing this floor out, you're looking at all new bathrooms, all new walls, wall finishes. It's just a major undertaking that you really don't need to spend. I mean, you can stop, if you can stop the floor where it is now,
Right.
okay? The doors really aren't being upset terribly where you can't adjust the doors anymore. The plumbing didn't crack, nothing's leaking. It's like fine, like this went on like years ago, in the 70s, 80s, even in the 60s, where they didn't, small additions like that, they never compacted the ground. But it was just a detail.
So what you're telling me now is you don't have to compact the ground, all you have to do is grind it?
Just grind, right now, is what I'm advising you to do, because I had my own contracting business, and I did a lot of alterations and repairs to buildings and everything. The easiest thing is just grind this floor smooth where the crack is, so nobody can trip over it, and then we just like fix the rubber base and everything, grout the bathroom really good, and then every first week of the month, we can go in there, take a look at it, see if it's moving. If it moves the least little bit, all we're gonna do is if you guys approve it and want it done that way,
Right.
we get a contractor to cut like 3 or 4 holes along the wall, nice, easy, saw cut it, and then just like dig down, and it would basically create like a pier that comes up like this, and underneath the slab, it would just be like V'd out like this. So it would be almost like a mushroom,
Okay.
sitting there, and then
Yeah.
the head of the mushroom would support the floor.
And so
That doesn't really work.
none of the children will run into any problems with them going to the bathroom because you're gonna balance that all out
No,
properly?
because all we're gonna do is do it, the bid is to do it on a weekend, like probably Saturday.
Yes.
So nobody will be interfered with anything. The bathrooms will be still working and everything. And even if we cut the floor open on a Saturday night, Sunday, cut the holes, we can go out and look at it, the office can go look at it. Mix it, a dozen bags of concrete up and just fill the holes. Done, put the carpet back over it.
Let me just say, we fixed that floor. We had contractors out, we dug, they did a lot of things with the bathrooms less than 10 years ago.
Right.
And from the time that they redid that floor less than 10 years ago, I don't know if the 2 of you remember exactly when it was done. Do you
No.
remember?
remember exactly.
But it was less than 10 years ago, they completely redid the floor. Pat Massey and I went in to look at it very recently, and that floor sunk a good inch. It looked like a significant amount.
Well,
Correct.
So,
it's
right,
maybe
but
3 wasn't it?
my point being that if that's happening in the last less than 10 years, and that addition was built long before that, it's still sinking.
Yep.
It's,
I-
n-
yeah.
I agree.
it's so you just grinding, that's a quick fix to put off until
Well-
next year or 2 or 5 or 10 years from now for the exact same thing to
Well,
happen again. It's
It
still
won't be 10
moving.
years, because that's why I'm saying, we can cut the floor open right now and put the piers in and support it. But I don't think you
Right,
need to,
okay.
whether you grind the floor now, in 2 months from now, you cut the holes in the floor and support the floor. If it does move, that's why I'm just suggesting to you, it's easier just to grind the floor, put the carpet down, we go there, we peel up one carpet, we see if it moved. Because whoever came in there to fix the floor, all they did was put some cement over it to try and level it off into the old part of the building.
On that part, but on the outside part, they had dug it up. They did, I forget exactly what they did. There was a whole big thing that they were shoring it up. There was a lot more going on. They worked with pipes. Robbie, do you remember what exactly happened?
When I was back in 2009.
Yes.
When they tore everything up, but there was a
Yes.
sewer pipe had broken.
Okay.
And it undermined everything, so everything was settling. And that's when they tore everything out and redid the floor, redid the bathrooms. And now it felt like, now it's sinking again. But I do agree, John, what I do agree with, if we're gonna do the sanding, I think we should do the cutting of the holes and do the piers all at one time. You know, this way we stabilize the floor, grind it down, and in one shot, and that's my opinion.
I want-
I agree with
Yeah,
this.
I would
So-
agree,
question.
I would agree with you that we don't want to go to the expense of ripping out the bathrooms, ripping up the
Yeah,
floor.
it's
and
easy
doing-
to-
Again and
We
again,
don't need
yeah.
to do that.
Can
But
I
I
ask
do
you-
agree with putting in those piers at the same time that the floor is, you know,
Being ground.
ground
Well, what
down.
we should do, then the way you really should do is we can get some prices to put the piers in. Because you have a couple of
Yes.
contractors, I would call, like me and some of those other guys.
Okay.
And just see, I can meet you there, I can show you what we should do with it. And then, you know, like I would put those piers in first and then grind the floor.
Okay.
And
I
we
have
had
a
to make
question.
sure,
Yeah, I have a
we had
question.
to make sure that, because that is the kids area. And it has a, like Lisa said, it's a big gap there. I also visited there, I think Joesh was
Yes,
with me.
yes.
We all,
It's a
I
trip
think,
to you
visited,
guys.
right?
Right.
We can see that any kind of insect or anything can come from there. We don't know, but it may happen.
Right.
So it is really very highly emergency kind of condition there, where we need to fix it very soon. So please do it a permanent solution. Don't do it temporary, because like Lisa said, because she was president here for a long time and she did a lot of efforts on it. And that time temporary arrangement was done and we thought it will work.
It
but-
wasn't meant as temporary at the time. We
Yeah,
believed,
that's what I'm
we believed
saying.
it was a permanent solution. We
Correct,
did not
correct.
think it was temporary.
Yeah, I agree,
Clearly, we were wrong, but
Excuse
we
me,
believed
can I
it
ask
was
you a
permanent.
Correct,
question?
correct.
Can I?
One
So
question
please,
over here.
please do it,
Question.
yes.
So one thing I want to ask is that the foundation for the wall, are they sinking or they are not
No.
sinking?
No, they're not.
So it's
No,
just
this is
flooring,
moving.
right?
Just the floor, because it's not pinned to the foundation, the floor.
Yeah.
It's just like floating there, so that's what's called, that's why the floor is able to sink, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, what
We
you
can
are
stop
explaining is that when they build, or even later on when they try to fix it again, they probably did not like compact the soil down. I think that part, I probably agree with him that since it's only the flooring part, you probably just put something that's a quick fix. And even
it's
like
not-
10 years later, it's sinking maybe 1 or 2 inches. You
Well,
just
that's
put
why-
more.
Right. It
As
depends.
long as the foundation, like for the wall,
Right.
it's fine. Because that's,
But
that's-
David, just because what Lisa and others were saying, see, the same thing was done and it was told it is a permanent solution, right?
Well, they never.
Now
frankly
we
speaking,
know
I
after
don't know whether we can have a
10
permanent
years,
solution.
no, we really, we cannot take that risk for our kids to sit there and something happens with them.
No, but-
So we should go for a permanent solution.
This is what my understanding of this one. Settling is always a natural occurring process. I mean, I don't, in this scenario, I just like what happened, I don't know whether we can really have a permanent solution. Like, you know, put it there and it's sinking,
No,
it's not going
Well,
to like be
this
sinking down.
will stop the floor from moving at all.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, whether you do it now or you do it 6 months from now, it'll be the same thing. If
Yeah,
if
he's the
board
expert, so
feels
he can
they
make a
wanna-
fix.
They want to
Yeah.
do the entire, like, put the
Yeah.
piers in, grind the floor, we can do it that way. It's up to you.
Yeah,
decision on
make-
how you want to do it.
A possible estimate?
That's
Well, the
what I was
floor-
just gonna say, the floor is
The-
over
the floor-
5.
The floor is 5,500
And what are
to
the
grind the
piers?
floor and stuff.
And put the piers in?
Probably to put the piers in, doing it on a weekend, I'd probably,
I don't know.
maybe, like,
And another
4
five.
grand maybe, something
Okay,
like
it'll
that.
stay on.
So I
So
think,
we're
I
under
think
the
for like around
17.
10 grand.
Okay.
Okay, so do we need to make a motion to get, to approve them to get some estimates?
Yeah, I think we should do a permanent solution.
quotes now, because
Right,
it's
get
way
quotes.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're over the
okay,
things
I'd
you
like
have
to
to
make a
get.
motion that the board approve getting quotes for adding the piers first and then the grinding in the North Edison Children's Room.
I'll second that.
All in
So
favor?
adding the
Alright,
piers is a permanent solution,
I
you're
can't hear
saying?
you, I'm sorry.
Adding the piers in is a permanent solution. It's going to stop
I'm
any.
like getting none of this, I'm sorry.
No, she's saying,
And the piers is gonna be more of a permanent solution than just
Is it-
grinding
Well,
it.
the piers are gonna be put in just to hold the floor up
There's
where it
supports,
is.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
not, we're not gonna try and
Yes.
raise the floor, like, you can do things like
Keep it from moving.
We want
cut holes in the
prevent it
floor
from
and pump foam in, and you
Yeah.
can raise the floor, but I wouldn't bother doing that. The floor, if the floor at 20 feet sank an inch over like the time since the building's been built, okay? It's, you know, it's a small amount for what's going on here. It's not. And
So-
whoever tried to fix the floor before, they just tried to feather the floor out the other way. So they actually just made a peak in the floor. They actually made it
Okay.
worse than better.
Okay.
so what is the timeline for this? Means how quickly we
It's
can
just a
do
matter
that?
of like, I'm gonna be away next week.
If we will approve today, when you think it will
She
be
said,
done?
Well, we gotta get,
No.
we have to get, we
Probably
have to
your
get.
next meeting.
Yeah.
It won't be before then.
We'll
Yeah.
have
Okay.
to
We can
approve.
approve, we can approve
So
the
we'll-
work at our
Well,
next
right now,
meeting.
there's a motion on the table to approve getting the work, you know, getting
Done.
quotes.
Okay.
Quotes,
So we
right?
need to vote on
Estimate,
that
not
first,
like,
and
yeah.
then we'll go
Okay.
from that in October.
Okay.
Yes, we-
okay.
Yeah, but it should go, it should be done before winter will be fine, will be good,
oh, it'll be
you know.
done. Like, once we get the quotes from it and you guys say to do it, then
Okay.
we'll just, the flooring guy said whatever weekend we want it, he'll do it, so.
And I believe, Councilman, infrastructure is council's responsibility, right? It should not impact our budget.
That, I can't get into that right now, because it's not in our capital improvements to, I mean, if.
It's a spending from last 9, 10 years.
No, if there's an emergency appropriation that's needed from the township, it has to be run through the council. I can't just
Yeah,
dictate.
no, just, means you can bring it to the council
I can-
because you are representing from council,
I
so
can
just I'm saying.
definitely make the
But it
recommendation.
should be a responsibility of the council to
It is the
approve
township-owned
township.
building, but let's just get the quotes first
Yeah,
and we'll go from
right,
there. Let's
right,
just
right.
approve the
But we
motion.
should have some answer by next meeting so we can approve everything together, so he can work on it.
Yeah, so we'll get the quotes and I'll send you off to
We
you.
need to approve, we need to vote.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
All
who
in
did
favor?
the second? You did second, right?
Yes.
All are agree?
We don't have a quote yet. Are we approving?
Oh, we are
approving
just
the-
putting
we're-
table.
Yeah.
We are putting on a table, and next, by next meeting, we are going to have a quote and
We
everything.
vote for the.
Why
That
do
time, we are going to approve it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so why
But we,
do-
to bring on table,
Okay.
this thing, the permanent solution, whether we want or not, that we are approving today. Right? You guys are agree?
Yes, we're going to
Right.
approve getting the quotes
Close.
that we will
Yeah.
decide upon at the next meeting and then discuss how, you know, whether the township pays for it or the library pays
I
for
agree.
it.
Are you making the motion?
I already
Yes,
did, and
and
it's
I
been
already
seconded. We just need to take
All
a vote.
right.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone in
So you
oppose?
need 3 quotes or 1 or what? How do you-
Three.
Three.
Okay.
Three we need.
So we'll
Also,
get it,
weren't you talking about the skylights also at Clara Barton?
He said he hasn't seen.
No, he said he didn't go to Clara Barton yet.
Oh.
we didn't go look at
That's
that, but if you want, like I said, I'm gonna be away next week, so when I come back,
Okay.
if you want me to get together with Jane and we'll go over and take
Yeah.
a look at it.
And just so that you know, they're not really skylights, they're clearest windows up at the top, they're not skylights.
Yeah, we have a whole list of things
Just
at Clara Barton that's been going on since
Okay.
before
So
2012.
we'll take a look at that, then we'll get back to you, okay?
Okay,
Yes,
We're good?
Okay,
you're good, sir.
Okay, good evening, take care.
thank you, John.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, good.
Okay, the next order of business is the reports.
Yeah.
Yep, financial report. Which one is the financial report? Yeah, I'm getting all of this like this. That's what I told. Hey, Jan, these reports what I told in the email?
You cannot see it?
No, see, still it is not here, showing here. That's why I told in the email.
That's empty, right?
Those are empty?
That's the empty line.
Empty lines? Okay, because that's why I got confused, whether they're empty line or there are something.
That's just empty.
Okay, then I'm okay.
So this must be the trustee.
Yeah, it's tough.
This is the trustee council, one's for July, one's for
And
August.
the color one.
Our printer does that all the time at work.
The figures which are showing in a minus, those were unexpected? The like 381 for the Patterson paper and Edison library, these were not part of the which one
right here?
I'm looking at wrong report or what? No, in this paper I'm looking.
Yeah, we better check the top of it.
Oh, I've got a question on the July listing.
July.
I'm sorry, the July,
No, we're not.
we're not there yet, I
We're here.
apologize. I apologize. I will ask my question.
That's in red. Because if that's in red, they probably didn't calculate it into this year. Because that's an outstanding debt that doesn't connect to that. That checks are written at a later time.
So, so we have 1.5 million balance at this time. Right, this is the balance we have. This is the balance we have right now.
Yeah. Balance ending.
And we are in September, October, November, December.
So, with us not having a meeting in August, this would have to be from August.
Yeah, I can see, I'm looking against only.
Yeah. So that means that they wrote the check out those other people. You know, I explained to them how your stuff is in your red when you.
Anyone has any question?
be out at this particular time.
Yes.
Please, go ahead.
Related to the TD Bank checking account, again, why haven't the funds been transferred yet?
Can we talk that one during for the unfinished business?
That's,
I'm gonna bring the three options we want to do, because it's not just the interest rate. That's not the only factor we want to consider. So I did some research, and then I will give you several options, and the board can approve exactly what we need to do.
We already approved
Okay,
it.
exactly. Before you present options, let's confirm whether we have all previously approved it. If we have previously
Okay.
approved it,
Okay,
that
then
order stands and there's nothing left to be
Okay,
said.
then let me explain to this scenario.
Can we prove this first and then we talk something?
We don't
There's nothing
approve,
to
we don't
approve.
approve on the trustee accounts, just the bill list.
That's, I was like saying, don't get into a big discussion about the transfer
Yeah.
and the options until we go back to review the minutes, because right now we'll be spending our wheels, so let's just
That's
move
fine.
on.
I mean, frankly speaking, yeah, I can provide more details on that one. I'm not for or against that one, but I just give you more information for the whole board to consider. That's
We
fine.
can't consider it
Yeah.
if the board already approved it, which will be proven.
I mean, I don't think the board approved that we move it. What I'm trying to say is that,
We did.
That's fine, well, look, I guess you want to speak about it later on, we'll get to
yeah,
that,
we
but
should
that's
talk it
something
like
that
that.
I will be raising afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. Are we moving on to the bill listing?
Yes.
Then I would like to ask my question. For July 2019, it says under number 9, Baker and Taylor, adult books, 24 books, there's no price. Why is that blank? First page, July 2019, for September board meeting,
Fourth from the bottom.
fourth from the bottom. The blanket account, adult books, 24 books, there's no dollar amount there. Why is that blank? And what should it be?
We'll check this later.
Okay, well then I move that we cannot approve, or at least that line item cannot be approved without a valid number.
But I also have a question on the bill listing. In the middle of it, it says Zenith Resources IT project balance. What is that?
Oh, because we need some IT project already presented to you, like the previous board meeting. We need upgrade our network. So we like deploy the Foronix deep freeze, like the softwares in our public computers, and also antivirus to the staff computers. So, and also we have the printer set up for IP printing with names that are easy for staff to understand. Instead of those names, we change that. And we move equipment to Claire Barton to the upstairs IT rack. That's our phase one. We plan to move our IT technologies.
Zenith Resources was the vendor that we
Yeah,
approved?
we talked about that in our meeting before, and Sarah at that time said, if I do it based on project, I can do it. So I did that like from 2 months
I
ago.
just didn't
We start.
recognize the name, and we approved that name to do the work?
That's like
No.
What name?
not like approve
Zenith
the whole
Resources.
project. And at that time, I am asking
Zenith
you if I can
Resources.
use some IT sources to do my IT project, network project. And at that time, Sarah said if based on project under that threshold, I can move forward to do that. If you need me to present other, I'm looking for some other sources as well, because I want to compare. Their service is really good, but I still need to move forward to phase two. Have a discussion with them and also with my IT person. So that's what I think we should do for
I know we
our
approved
technology.
the hardware and buying some new computers.
Yeah, we did that
We
from
did that.
last
I don't
year.
recall any of this.
That's
That's why I
we
was asking
ins-
about it.
that's part of in my report. We start to replace our computers after the. We did that by ourselves, and
And
these
you
something
just
we
chose
cannot do
Zenith
by.
Resources all on your own, it's
Huh?
because they're the best and the cheapest?
No, I get recommended by other libraries directors. They, when I ask them if what kind of company they use for the IT project, they recommend several. So this one is like in their list, give it to me to use. So
I'm
that,
not sure
that's
we
where.
should have used them without bringing them before the board.
I brought it to you like
Zenith
several weeks,
Resources?
several meetings before. We talk about that. That's why Sarah gave me that suggestion.
This was talked about in closed session?
Yes, we talk about that, and then for based project, we can use them. Yeah.
So I gotta look into that a little bit more, but we're putting this on hold anyway.
No, I think we're actually all right. I just want to make a recommendation. The total is fine. I think we should just have Jean take out this PO number and put it on another list.
Yeah.
Because that way we can go along.
Sure.
It's not in the total amount.
Okay, so that was, all right.
That should be out.
Yeah,
That should be out.
that'll be easy, and then we can.
So that
move
we'll
on.
have to approve for next month, that one line item.
The
In
one line,
September.
yeah,
I
No,
guess.
you mean October.
October.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I'll move this out, put in the next billing list.
And I just have a quick question. and
Sure,
It's
go
probably
ahead.
very simple. The vendor is the library, Edison Township Library, for out-of-pocket expenses?
Oh, that's the petty cash, I think.
Oh, it doesn't say petty cash, it just says, okay, petty cash.
Mm.
Where is that?
It's in the middle of the page. The
yes, I see
PO
it.
number is 19-03338, and the vendor is Edison Township Library.
So the only one that you guys have in question, other than, you took care of Zenith already, the other one you have in question is Baker and Taylor, the adult 24 books?
Yeah, 19-00576
Okay.
-09, that'll go on the October bill list.
So that'll just go on the October bill
Yeah.
list, and
Mhm.
that's fine, okay.
I had two questions. PSNG in July is showing 8,731, and in August it is showing 11,000 something. So 3,000 difference. Can you blanket the first billing list?
Which one you're talking, sorry?
First one.
Top one.
Top
On
one.
both.
So 3,000 difference within a 1 month, and 7 month we had only 8,000. So I'm trying to understand why
Probably air
3,000 jump is there.
Was it
Probably
because
air
of the heat?
conditioning.
Was it because?
It's blanket accounts anyway, so as long as we stay within the budget, I think it's fine.
But did it go up because of the air conditioning and other things?
That's what
Because it was like
Yeah, July,
110
air
degrees.
In the
in summer
summer
all the
time,
time.
yeah, also.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, man, please do check in the previous years, because every year we have this time, we need to understand
We do,
that.
because
Yeah.
especially right now, we have that electric charger, so I'm keep an eye on it for this,
Okay.
for this
And
month, for the summertime, we
Summer
did
on record
increase
so
a lot of
far.
electricity bill for North.
Another question I have from the Optimum, in July we had 1,982, and in August we have around 600. Can you please explain?
For what?
Optimum?
That's internet use, internet phone.
So you think internet was not, it should be a fixed amount, right?
It's a fixed bill every month.
It's a huge difference, that's why.
Where? The Optimum bill?
Third
Yeah.
line on July and the third and fourth line in August.
Right.
Okay, 455.
455 plus 209.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's
so it's a huge
1982.
difference, yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay.
That's right. That's, I'm just catching, I'm not going very micro, but I'm catching only those things which shows huge difference. So, can you explain us?
Yeah, and July doesn't specify whether it's, which, yeah, doesn't specify the branch, whereas August does.
Yeah, it looks like this is all broken out.
There may be some reason, but yeah, just we wanted to know.
Didn't we vote on some other things that?
There's three.
There's
There's a
thousand.
third, there's a third.
So it's still, there's a third on this one, but it's still off about, $300.
More than that.
$600.
The internet.
No, that's
It looks like
the
there'll be a
hotspot if you
fourth
hook
branch
in
in
and out and
this
do it
one in
somewhere
July.
else.
And Optimum doesn't bill by usage, they bill by set amount.
Exactly.
And those are blanket accounts, does that mean that it's just broken out?
There's a lot of difference I can see in Verizon also, 669 in July, and then 124 only in August. So, there should be some explanation we need to know.
You can call Optimum.
It's a, yeah. Because it's a huge difference between these amounts.
209, and you got the number.
Oh, but there are three optimal lines,
Do you know what we pay a
right?
month?
Add them together.
Do you know what we pay a month?
No, no, but in July it is showing
It's like
only
it's a
one.
$9,000, yeah.
In July,
It's
it's
a
showing
$9,000
only one.
discrepancy.
Yeah, August they're showing three.
That's right.
Or 900, 900.
If you add 3,
Yeah.
it's still it is
Yeah,
huge
it's
difference.
still like a
Still a
big
huge
difference.
difference.
Not a joke.
Yeah, in Verizon also it has a huge difference. So Jen, you may not have an answer right now, but please bring
Sure,
it.
I will check it for you.
Yeah, please send us before the next meeting.
Exactly $900.
I don't need to wait for next meeting if you, or I'll explain, I'll bring the result next meeting for you, and I will check, maybe give your, through email and give you explanation as well.
In fact,
also.
it's almost exactly $900 difference,
Which could be an inverted number
Because-
somewhere.
which could be an inverted number.
Right, right, that's what I'm saying, that there may be some reason.
You know, in accounting
but
practices,
we-
it's an
we want to
inverted
know.
number.
Mm.
So there's probably just a typo there. But if you could just double check.
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, I'll check.
So you gonna check
Yeah,
that?
9 is the.
So what do we do?
Any other question from anyone?
We can just wait for the explanation, we need to approve the bills.
I do too.
I still recommend, Vasant, that we approve the bills and wait for the explanation.
Yeah, that's okay, we will approve it.
Before we do, hold on just a moment. because-
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, please.
If I remember correctly, the bills have already gone through and been paid, and we're retroactively approving them. I believe they've all.
Is that what happened?
They've already been
No,
paid.
no, I don't think so.
No, I don't think
No.
so either, no.
That's okay.
Not in the summer, they hold.
Okay, all right. Never mind that.
I want to make
Okay.
a move, we approve the
So,
bill listing
yeah.
for July.
Okay,
A motion?
With a caveat that we take out the
Line
fourth to
item,
last
yeah.
line, Baker and Taylor, adult books 24, with no price on it. We can't approve what we don't know what it costs.
okay,
Okay.
sure,
All right, so
agreed.
That'll be on the next meeting then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen, please
And frankly,
make sure it should
Should we
move.
take out the option?
No.
So, who's making motion?
We just did.
Well, you just did.
I just
She did it. So who did second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No.
I'll also make
Approved.
a motion that we approve the bill listing for August.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Approved. Next we are going for the billing, we are done, right? Approval of billing.
Okay.
This is, we have approval of the bill listing, news, bank star ledger, online renewal. It is listed in 3B.
I will move
One.
to approve the renewal of the News Bank Star Ledger database.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Okay. Okay, director's report.
Jane, I'm curious, you say summer reading did well and exceeded last year's totals. What were this year's totals and what were last year's totals?
1 second.
Is it in here?
For the summer reading, I think we have the summary. So Carolyn is here to give you a full report.
No, I understand, but if she's giving us, saying it exceeded it, I'd be curious to see by how much.
Yeah, she will give you. She has. You don't have the number.
Anything in black is above last year's.
It's all above. Yeah.
Oh, this is
And I think this very
unfinished bill.
attractive is the summer. We have people, new user registered for the summer. We have over 1,000 new users. I think that's really amazing. Only for 2 months. Each, like May and North, or July we have over 300. August we have over 200. That's something which really make me happy. Make all our staffs happy. For this summer, I think our librarians, everybody in the library, they work really hard. We try to push our programs. And we also cooperate with the LMAX. They have a, what's that? They have a computation, and because there are 33 libraries in the LMAX consortium, and we won this, they push the trading cards activity. So we are the third among those 33 libraries. And today they just announced one of the winners is from our library. So we're really happy about that, because our library staff, they really push hard to when patron come to our library, we introduce those programs, so let them join us. For adults, for the children to join our programs, and that's really we did really a good job. I'm really proud of my staff. And I think Carolyn, it's the time for her to give the summary of the children's summer reading for this.
Yeah, I was redoing the design on the report. But I have to say, it was significantly bigger than last year. We were very excited. We made some changes on how we were doing things. We had this special spinning wheel that kids were so excited about. Neville, which I'm sorry he's not here, wanted to thank again, donated some special prizes. One incident I just wanted to share with you, I had one mom who had a child who didn't read that much, but he found out he might get a chance to win Sky Zone tickets if he kept reading, because every time they came in, they got to spin this big wheel, find out how many tickets they could put in, and I tell you, they wore out my staff going back and forth with that wheel and everything. And his mother came to me and said, he drags me in here every day, every single day now he's reading. And guess what? He was the one that won.
Wow.
So excited. I didn't pull the tickets myself. I had 2 little kids. I had 2 buckets of tickets at North, and I had them mix them up and pull them. So nobody can say that I picked. And I just went nuts when I saw the name, and he came in and said, in fact, we already have his picture up on our website on the children's section, holding his the tickets and everything. So they're still coming in to pick up their prizes. You know, we had a few small belows. The ones in red are not that much lower than before, but otherwise it's significantly higher. And I just finished putting in the state report, because when I do the state report, we get free banners and free bookmarks and free posters and everything, as long as we, and a manual for the next summer, for the theme. And next summer is going to be on a fairy tale, folktale theme. So we really blew away last year in attendance and amount of books that were read. My librarians have already met to start working on next year and what we're going to do and how we're going to refine it. So we were very happy with that. Other things going on, if you can give me a minute, in the children's department, I'm now partnering with JFK Hospital. I get a lot of donations, and we don't want to turn them away, and the book sale can only handle so much. So once a month, I'm taking 1 or 2 boxes of adult, children's, and teen books over to JFK Hospital, which are when they come room to room and they give them away. And we've already sent them about 300 books in the last 3 months. And
Great.
I've got the letters in my office, and I told them as long as they're going to bring a smile to the kids or whoever while they're in the hospital, and they take the books home, you know? So we're enjoying that. Also, the department has added a number of new events. We've been doing some STEAM programs on mathematics and robotics and, oh gosh, I can't think of all of them, but a number of those. We increased the number of teen programs now that I have 2 teen librarians working with me. Jeff and Charlie have been doing a wonderful job. They've also, Charlie has also created a youth advisory committee, and you can see some past one. And they have already they've met a number of times, and they created their own little newsletter. All right, understand this is not a library newsletter, it's a youth advisory committee. He's trying to find what they're interested in, what kind of things they want to write, teaching them how to write their own newsletters. Jeff is just working on a creative writing class for the kids, so they're working on that. I was very proud of them that they put all this together. We're working on trying to get that on the teen page so people can see it there. So we have increased programming at CB, and attendance has been good. It always has been good during the summer. My caveat is let's see how it goes during the winter. It's the other 9 months that we were always concerned with, so we're working on that. ML and Maine and North are doing good. Programs that we will continue to occur, of course, is our preschool programs, our lab sits for 9 to 24 months. Charlie at Clairvaux is going to start a new babes and books literacy thing for 0 to 12 months. He'll be starting that in October. I've had some people working with me who have done makerspace programs on Java, 3D print, and Scratch.
That's what I was going to ask you, how the makerspace was doing this summer.
Well, we don't have a makerspace librarian, so I've been getting some outside people that I've been booking with Jane's approval, and they've been enjoying that because the person we had that handled it is not there. But they're loving it, and I do a literacy alphabet series that I've been doing for 2 years now. That's non-registration for preschoolers, 1 letter twice a month and everything, and I've got requests. I've done it twice, and I was going to take a break, but they talked me into repeating it again starting in December, but I'm going to do it with a twist because it's going to be alphabet and signing. So I'm going to, along with learning the alphabet and the sounds and everything, they're also going to be learning words in sign language that start with that letter, because that's my thing, so I like to do that with them. Children's librarians have already reached out with letters to the schools. We're going to be visiting the kindergarten classes this month. This is Library Card Sign-Up Month. Charlie and Jeff are going to try to get to the middle schools. And I'm already scheduled to go to J.P. Stevens High School and Edison High, which I do once a year at each school, because I talk to the classes that are going to be reading books to the daycare at the high school, and I teach them how to properly pick out the right books and how to read. Yes, everybody thinks it's easy, anybody could read a story, and it's not true. Some of them are pretty boring. So we teach them how to do that, and I love to do that, along with, I judge storytelling with FCCLA groups every year, and I've done that for 20 years. That's about it. Hopefully,
I want to
any
ask
questions?
you a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess that's for Jane to ask, because I had expressed it earlier I had expressed for everybody to get together for a teen advisory and a senior advisory.
Okay,
I don't know how the
senior wouldn't
seniors
be
going.
me.
That would connect to you. But expressed from the community is the fact that libraries will be getting more money, and they want coding classes.
Oh, we've already had coding
Yeah,
classes,
but,
yeah.
I mean, but they want like specific coding classes to last throughout the year. And also, I'm just telling you what the community is telling me, because you could have it, if the rest of the people don't see it at each library, we can just say that we have it. Number two, they also told me that they also needed the suggestion box to be put back up again.
Okay.
The suggestion boxes that we used to have prior to now, right, Lisa? They want those, they want those back up on the counter so they can tell you exactly what they would like more of and what they like and everything. So I always think that benefits us.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Just to jump on that, if you recall, the previous director, when she would give us highlights of the suggestions from the suggestion boxes, because there would oftentimes be like praise for the staff, or honestly, even sometimes complaints about the staff, or requests, what have you. But it was a really nice way for us to keep in touch with what's going on and what people want and like and don't like.
Yeah.
Maybe you can add in your new website a suggestion portion. So that will be very easy for you to compile things and bring it on the table.
Okay, and one last thing, everybody knows what next year is, right?
What, the summer?
Next year is, no, the year is 2020.
Uh-huh.
100 years.
100 years, women's suffrage. I want something like along those lines with our young people and everybody to kind of understand that, because 1920 is like the 100th anniversary, and I want us to be on board. I don't want all the rest of the libraries in New York and everybody to have this women's suffrage thing, and we not share it with
Right,
our
I'm sure we were planning on working at it. We're still trying to get through 2019.
No, but listen, for me being an educator for a long time,
I'm an
it's always
educator,
good
too.
to be months out and preparing rather than wait till the last minute.
Yeah.
I know we're months out, but it's better to be now than to wait till the last minute and say, oh, I think I'll do
Yeah,
something now.
we have a number of our different librarians work on different months and different things that we do.
But that's a year-long
Also, I have to
celebration.
remember that I'm also short one
I
librarian.
understand you. And I
So we are-
applaud you, I applaud you for
Yeah, I
all
know,
the good
thank
work
you.
that you do. I do
I'm just
applaud
letting
you.
you know. But we have had coding and one, and I.
Well, we need
I-
ongoing, because that's what the people are
I
telling me.
understand that, but I just want the board to understand too, there's a lot of them that they want the coding all year, they want the Java all year, they want this all year, but there's only so much meeting room and makerspace room to be scheduled, and we try to do a variety of different things. You don't want everything being coding and computers and nothing else, so we try to, and so we are trying to put in as much as we can. But sometimes you have to do one here and one there and to get them in, and we have to get someone who can do that too. And right now, we don't have
Yes,
it,
but I figure if we did it, rotated it at each different library, then the room would not be hogged up. So.
Yeah, well, this is.
We're doing it this time at Clara Barton, we're doing it this time at North Edison, we're doing it the next time at Maine. That would also give the people of Edison that live closer to each area an option of coming in.
Well, that's what we are trying to do, rotate, but then sometimes, like, I'm trying to get the lady who's doing the 3D printing at my branch.
Yes.
Could she possibly do it over there? But sometimes you get that person that's only willing to do it here.
Yes.
But she's thinking about it. Same way someone has already approached me, what's the one I just put on there? Website design. And
Okay.
everything, but this lady only wants to do the website design at North, because that's where she is. So it's a matter of convincing these people to go to another branch.
And also sewing. Someone also told me that they wanted sewing at the library. So that's another thing, we can put that down,
Right,
you know. Because
right.
we, as a library, have to be everything to all people, because we cannot let libraries become obsolete.
Right. I'm not fighting you on any of this.
I know, I'm with you
know.
100%.
I just try to let you know the difficulties sometimes of
I
getting
understand.
everything to be everything for everybody. Sometimes you're nothing.
We have
to
all
everybody
kinds
then.
of programs, no matter for different age groups. We really love to, but another issue is that we need more volunteer for doing that
but
as
what
well.
I need to have a needs
if you have,
assessment
if you have any
along
source,
with it.
let us know so we can reach out.
No,
Yeah,
that's
that'd be
I'm
great.
reaching out 'cause
That'd be
people
great.
People are reaching out to me continuously.
Yeah,
Once
no,
they
I get
see-
people come to me
Once they seen us
too.
on film, whoa.
Yeah.
And they're reaching out, and these are the things that they want for their library. And they know that a little bit more money is coming because the people above us have told them. So I know and I understand, and we applaud you because you go above and beyond, and we know that you need extra people, you know. Write that down, how we could be a better assistance to you
I
by
need
those people.
my librarians
Yeah,
to be
no,
able to
but-
spread them out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, you have to say, this is what's needed, this is what we need to, you know, go forward. Then, once you do those things, then you can sit back and say, well, then this would make her better at her job.
Thank you. I know Jane's pushing to get me some staff. Hopefully, you know, we got to get these people into library school again and everything. But once
You're
I
absolutely right.
once I
You're
get them,
absolutely right.
I push them to the extremes
Right.
on doing events. So the best we could. But I thank you.
Thank you,
And
thank you,
for your help.
Caroline.
Thank you very much.
And
Yes.
I also want to mention for the adult summer reading, because my adult summer reading program this summer, because she's down here too. So
All right.
you have this report on here, but this year we really have pushed very hard for adults coming to the library to read, and then we have separated two programs, one for our patron public, one for ourselves. So you can see we have over 183 adult patrons registered, half over 75 finished, and for our staff we have 12 staffs participate on our reading programs also. And this during this also we have move on some new services, like You Can Book Me is an online service, so people now they can book their by calendar online, so they can choose their own schedule, come to the library to ask for a particular service for 30 minutes one-on-one service. So we offer to our public. And also for the museum passes, we have increased to 9 total. And the foundation actually the sponsor for most of the passes, museum passes. So now we have in total 9. But still, unfortunate that our foundation is going down. We need more people to volunteer in the foundation, to be officer in the foundation. To otherwise we don't have friends of the library. A lot of library they have. And now we have only have foundation, and the foundation we don't have enough people. We don't have quorum almost. So I want to call the public. If you're interested, you can come to us to join us. We do really need your help.
Did you put that on Facebook also?
On the website
Yeah.
and on Facebook,
Mhm.
because I remember looking for information on that, and there's nothing.
They used to have one separate web page. So when we develop the new web page, we're going to add one for foundation. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, I did. I already mentioned it. I did in the beginning.
Yeah, I would like to mention some points, and I would like to congratulate and thanks to the library director and team. PSNG energy saving project is started, which we approved last meeting, which is very good, and I'm seeing good progress on it. I am seeing library won the 3rd place in 33 out of 33 libraries, which is a good achievement. So and there are a lot of good things in this list. Over 1,000 people registered. Then we got a good response, 1,400 people, and Board of Education is helping also, which is my dream, that library should be directly connected with the Education Board. So that's the direction you're moving. I really appreciate. Work performance evaluation has been completed in July and August, which I think we should be doing little bit early because this was for the last year, I believe, right?
Okay.
So
This evaluation is doing from the January to June.
January to June. Okay,
Yeah,
then.
half year.
Then I thought it's. So I think a lot of good things. You reached to the New York Live for a sponsorship. I think Amazon is a good source also, like I mentioned in my email. And Microsoft also we can approach because they're also willing to help us. If you need, I can connect with you some of the directors from there because last time they helped us. We had to get our local sponsors. Companies which are like Merck and others, the pharmaceuticals companies. I think that will be a good resource for bring more money for us. Yeah. Otherwise, it looks very nice. Thank you very much for all the good work. Thank you.
Board President, I have a request.
Sure.
I do have to step out, but I want to know if we can get through the trustee facilities committee prior, or move that up on the list so that I can elaborate on that.
Trustee Facility Committee one. I believe our committee supposed to. I have no objection if.
No, we can.
Yeah, we can go, but I think I would like our trustee committee to speak first because they were handling it and in the last meeting, I requested to have A to Z list what they think is the better for our libraries. So I would like, yeah,
Sure.
you guys to.
Well, as you know, we met, the facilities committee met, and Robbie was there as well, and it was excellent to have him join the committee. Joyce was there, and Neville was there. And we discussed the facilities, and one of the things that was mentioned was that the strategic plan needs to be updated. First of all, what we have, we all know that we want to update the 3 facilities. We want them to be, up to date and attractive for the public to use. We also suggested that it might be important before we do anything to evaluate the collections, to maybe do usage reports and find out what is actually circulating, what might not be circulating, maybe for the past 8 years or whatever, so that we have a good idea of the space that we want for books. We also thought that it would be important for the staff to discuss how they feel the space needs to be used, and that the public should be asked what they think of the space. After discussing the idea that we do want to see improvements made, we suggested that everything be put on hold until we address the 2 projects that are long-standing. The windows at Clara Barton and whatever, if there's any kind of leaking at Clara Barton, and the floor situation at the North Edison branch. So until we address those, we really wanted to get some professional advice in terms of what might be done to the space. For example, ALA, you probably saw their most recent magazine, their journal is all focused on design. And then I saw that you are going to be hosting the LMXAC meeting, which is great. Possibly could you ask, because so many different libraries, so many public libraries in Middlesex County have recently done redesigns, could that be part of the discussion? And maybe get some of the names that
I did ask some advice from other libraries like Piscataway and also
Right, because they've
Cedarville.
done a
Yeah,
lot.
and East Brunswick, they really did a lot.
Right, right.
Where?
Several years, it's
Monroe.
about 5 years.
Yeah,
ago.
most of the library, they did a lot of renovation recent years, so I
Right,
can have a good
right.
source of that. If
Right, and then
I can collect some from.
built a new
Some of,
building.
yeah, some of the vendors even recommended by them, I asked them for.
Yes, to
Yeah.
find out. And then there was, we spoke about the collection, and then we spoke about the importance of having a plan. We cannot go and decide that we're going to replace shelving when we don't know how much shelving we need, where we want the shelving. And the other thing that we said numerous times is that we need to make sure that our spaces are flexible. We need to be able to move things around, have furniture that is easy to move, have chairs that's easy, and have meeting spaces that are available for staff and the public, just everything that is flexible. Can you add and choice? And
I'll let Sam.
Yeah.
I'll let Sam.
No, I want to speak. See, when I made this committee, I have requested you guys to bring only the improvement points. And this is the third meeting we are talking, and we don't have anything in writing, which is really disappointing. We need something A to Z list, what we want to do it. Whether we want to make the carpet, we want to change the bathroom, we want to do something. We want just a list at this time.
Vasant, no, I understand. I hear what you are saying. You want a list. What we want to do, we want the lighting improved, which we are done. We are done with that. We want furniture updated, we want shelving updated, we want carpeting updated, we want the layout updated. We want all of those things, but we have to have a plan. And it's not the board members that are going to say, oh, we want this, we're going to buy shelving next month.
I don't want to cut you, but what I was expecting from last 3 meetings, just I want a list. Then we can give it to Jan to make a plan, bring the quotes from others. See, our job is to bring and give it to her what we feel based on the feedback from the public, that what we want to do for the North Edison, Chlora-Barton or South Edison. If we will not put in a paper, it is not going to make any help to her or her management to define anything.
Right.
So that's why I want to what I have planned, because I was expecting this answer. So in next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm planning to bring couple of board members to the 4 libraries, so they can see there how the North Brunswick. 3. Whoever wants to come with me. Means I'm not limited with anyone. Even the director, she should come, or she can appoint someone. We'll go to the New York, we will go to the different 3 libraries in New Jersey to find out what kind of things they have better than us. And we will note down that on the fly, because we cannot wait anymore. We have enough budget in our hand. We should be start spending that money. It is public's money for public. So we need to do this. Otherwise, we will continuously discussing whole year for renovation, and last couple of, see this carpet, I don't really like it. I don't want my daughter to sit on this carpet, right? We should have a good carpet when I have a money.
Sandra,
right?
Can I add something?
Yeah, please.
I mean,
I'm sorry. Sorry if I'm very aggressive, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, first thing I want, because I was appointed to be one member in that committee, but like the meeting I wasn't. When you have a meeting, I was not notified. So next time, please let me know. The second thing is that I think somehow I agree with the long-term plan, but we also need to come up with a concrete plan, because from the time to plan something to finish that one, it's going to be a long process. Yes. So we probably, like next time, we should get together and discuss all these kind of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
List down.
Yeah.
See, first thing is list down. See, at the home also we do. We list down our expenses.
My point is that we should come together, get a concrete plan, and including the list.
Yes. We need what Pat was saying is a strategic plan. That's what all libraries have.
Put on the paper. Let's bring to the board. At least we should have every meeting, we should have something to discuss.
Vasant, we don't even, all right, I can put it on the paper.
Okay,
We
thank
need
you.
to evaluate the collection and see if there's anything that we need to be
In other
weighted.
words, before we buy new bookshelves, how many bookshelves do we need?
Right.
What size bookshelves do we need? Where do they need to go? It's more than just buying new bookshelves, it's more than just buying carpet. We need to decide where we want carpet, do we want to have it all carpet? Do we want to have maybe not hardwood, but tile floor? Where would we want that? Why? What is the purpose for each area? We can't just say out of nowhere, you know what, I'd really love to have tiles over
No,
there.
I totally
We
agree,
need
Lisa.
to back it up with a purpose and function to prove that we're spending this money
No,
wisely
Lisa,
and
I totally
properly.
agree with you. But at least Jan should have some list where she can bring, okay, these things, because she know better than us, the library, because she works day to day here. So if we will say, okay, based on our evaluation, these A to Z, I have this list, other libraries has these things they have done better than us, we will put there. So that's why I decided to take the initiative. I'll bring you all, we will go together to at least 4 libraries next 2 to 3 weeks, whatever the time everyone will suggest me. We will make it, we will go there, we'll list down all the things, and we'll bring to the Jan, and we will tell her, okay, this is what we are looking for. She can add her views there, but at least she should have some list from us.
All right,
Not without a
I
strategic
hear
plan.
what you're saying.
Mhm.
We need to evaluate the collection, and that can be done. Jane needs to meet with the staff and discuss how they feel the spaces should be used. The public needs to be asked for feedback, whether you want to create focus groups or put out a questionnaire, do a Google, yes, do something. We are thinking of updating the library. Can you give any suggestions? This can be done, and it can be done very quickly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't require us going to different libraries. It is always a good idea to look at different libraries. We don't necessarily have to go as a group to look. And I would suggest if you want to look at the ALA, look at ALA for guidance for their design plans. They've got plenty of stuff on the website. Also, get information from LMXAC. We are paying money for them. It's not just casual conversations with other directors. Ask them for their professional advice. If you want to go beyond LMXAC, contact Pro Libra. They have the state library, but Pro Libra, that's an organization that helps many libraries when they're doing renovations. They might be able to provide some design and ideas. But we need professional advice, and some of us are professionals and we have worked in numerous libraries and can provide feedback. But I still think after you get that feedback from the staff and you have a general idea of what is circulating in our collections, then we can move forward and say, all right, we want to do whatever, in whatever sequence you are advised needs to be done.
Any timeline we have for this?
Yeah.
If I want to continue with this committee, at least I need a timeline. If we cannot bring a timeline very soon, then I really want to dissolve this committee.
So,
That's what my last decision.
For the meeting and inventory, sorry, we've been doing it all the time. It's like a daily operation. We do inventory, and especially for the summertime, we did a lot for inventory, and we do reading. And also now we have, like Carolyn just said, we have JFK, a source to donate the books. We have another 2, like Lion Club, and also one from Meituan. So we are doing a lot. We're doing reading and inventory, all the time. So.
I know
we've been working on that.
I don't know, and maybe you have, I don't know whether you've had an opportunity to talk to the staff at all about what, they've been working.
Collect their feedback, yes.
Right,
That's
maybe we don't need a large, we don't need a large reference desk anymore.
Supervising adult reference, I talk with her a lot, so that's why we have those plans. put
Yeah.
on my agenda.
So I want, you know, next, yeah, you can speak, but just I want, before you start, please bring next time some list, whoever is in the
We will,
committee,
yes,
yeah,
we will
please
bring
bring
a
that
list.
list. And let her do the micromanagement part of things to find out whether it is feasible or not feasible. We can make Taj Mahal here, doesn't matter, we can write down there, whatever it is. But write down that and we should go from there.
So I just wanted
Yeah, please go ahead,
Yeah.
Councilman.
I just wanted to interject because I was sitting in on the committee with Joyce, Patricia, Robbie, as well as Neville, and I agree there should be a list, and I don't think that it would be too much to elaborate on just yet. Two substantive things that we had discussed were, in addition to the weeding, the goal of it was just try to see how much space we can either consolidate or see for other usage. So for example, in addition to the books, if there's a book, you know, if we can get an inventory list, perhaps sooner than the next meeting, I'm sure you have, I know we were told that you've been doing it already, but if we can get an inventory list of books that have not been checked out for about, let's just say 5, 7, 8 years, we may want to consider moving that or, you know, doing something with that because they're books that we just are not in circulation.
It's not like you can make decision whether you keep the book or not.
Correct. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I apologize for interrupting, but I hear it like, it sounds like you discuss it as something that.
You won't be on TV.
I don't need to be on TV. They can hear me. I might be misinterpreting, but it makes it sound like it's something that just happens now and it's done. The librarians
It goes on.
weed
Yeah.
every
Yep.
year, constantly, all year. We don't do it in September and we're done. I'm doing I just finished the paperbacks and the fiction during the summer. I'm moving on to nonfiction. Charlie has just finished the easies, and then we start all over again the following year. But it's also not just getting rid of these books that are not circulating that much, it's making space for the new books that are coming in. So when you're talking about shelving, you don't say, okay, we got rid of all these so we can get rid of those shelves. Where are we gonna put the new stuff that's coming in? So this is, librarians are the ones that do this weeding. We run reports every year. Every month is a different section that's being worked on. So you can't say that, well, we need this by next month for the whole library to be weeded. It's
Yeah,
not
no, I
possible.
agree with you. It's
we didn't
Along
mean
with
that.
doing
It was
all the
more so.
events, you know?
It was more so if we can just get a report on how many books are being weeded on a regular basis.
Well, we do
So-
have a discard report.
So yeah,
that I
that's
sent
just the
to
report
Jen
that
each
we were,
month.
yeah, that's just the report that I think we discussed that we would like. But in addition to that, one thought process, or what we were also thinking, and we needed to bounce this off of you, was the consolidation of space. So we know that, like, for example, you just said that if science fiction is going to be weeded out, you may need space for another section, so it's not like you can just consolidate all the books into one.
Yeah, we shift things.
Yeah.
We're buying newer science fiction because these kids don't want that old stuff from before. They want the new stuff.
Exactly. However, when we were just taking a simple tour of the library alone, we noticed that there were certain areas where perhaps like half of an entire shelf or 3 rows, 4 rows are just completely untouched.
Can I address that? That's because we're in the process of weeding.
Okay.
And that's an unfortunate thing when the general public just walks in the library and they see 4 shelves blank. They don't understand that we just weeded that section and shifted.
Okay.
And tomorrow, we're gonna come back and do the things, but all you see when you come in is 3 empty shelves. You're coming in the middle of the project.
Okay.
So we are, shifting, and you also don't want any shelves so tight that you can't pull a book out.
Yeah.
Because those are the books that won't go out.
Okay.
If I walk up and I go, I move to another shelf, so there's
Okay.
always gotta be enough shelf. So that's because, if you went to Maine, Charlie just went through all the nonfiction, and so it looked like there were a lot of empty shelves, and then we hit the summer. So now he has to go back and shift everything.
Okay.
And he's moving things around, and we want to have special displays of special books. I don't know if you, when you're at North, you'll see we have leveled readers in a section. We have hot books over here that push the books to go out even further. So
Okay.
that's why you see empty shelves.
So that makes more sense, and thank you for clarifying that. But is there, I guess the question is, are we utilizing 100% of the space as efficiently as we can? I would assume the answer is probably not 100%, but is there perhaps a shelf that we can take out? And the goal is to just try to see how many cubic feet we can use for something else. So for example, if we're able to, in the northern end or the main library in Clara Barton, if we take out 2 or 3 shelves, then we know that we have 100 cubic feet that we can then reallocate or reutilize for a meeting space or a maker space or something like something along those lines. So in addition to the weeding process, if you can look into, I guess, in terms of cubic feet, how can we make this more efficient in terms of space?
I know
Yeah.
Jane was doing that upstairs. I saw she was making plans on, and they've been shifting things with Deborah and weeding collections and move stuff around and do that. And we're like I said, we're in the process at Main downstairs. There's more space downstairs. It's a bigger section, so there might be something Jane has plans with there, but we try to have some special sections where the parents can sit on the floor with their kids, so they're looking at that. I can tell you at North, I can't walk from here to there that we're not using the space. Every inch
Yeah.
of North Edison Children's Rooms is
Correct.
packed.
Yeah.
I was, if you want to plan another meeting room for North.
Yeah.
It would be heaven.
So that,
I have
sorry.
a suggestion.
Yeah.
I think you probably have a lot of detailed question. Next time you tour those branches, just grab someone there as staff,
Oh,
so
please,
that
if
you
you're
can get
there,
your
I'll walk
questions
around with you.
answered on the spot. That will
Sure.
definitely help with those kind of detailed questions.
Got you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
We
you
need
happen
a
to be
summary
over,
thing,
gonna
yeah.
be over at Maine, just let me know when you're gonna be there, I'll walk
I
around.
also think if we expand our space, that shouldn't depend on our shrinking our shelves. It's not like that big enough to build anything.
But you might wanna,
might have
you
a
might wanna
little bit,
shift
but-
where the shelving
Yeah, but
is
not
and
like
just
you can expect,
reorganize it.
There's always
bigger
chances of
space or
redesigning.
multiple
Correct.
rooms
Yeah.
by shrinking the shelves.
Well, I'll tell you guys something, there's a new state-of-the-art library. If you get a chance, go to Perth Amwood. They just built a brand-new one. So that one will give you some ideas and how they utilize it. Actually gorgeous, and the automation and stuff is like, you can touch a screen sometimes like you do in Borders and places, you can see just what books and everything is there. So, to me, that's where I see the library going. I don't see it, sitting still. I see that you pushing this button and it tells you all this is about astronomy. So the student has to have a report, because even in grad school, they also still make you use a hard book so you can, circulate, even though you use the internet and all that stuff. They still
We need to have a balance.
They still make you have that. But I believe that if we have stuff centrally located like that, and it's the space that we would need, like an extra meeting room or something like that, and the shelves, I say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, can be more streamlined. Not to get rid of your shelves, but they more streamlined, but
Get
they're
rid of
not
my
so
books.
bulky. No, I'm reading specials, I would never get rid of books, never.
That's why I suggested we
That's
should
it, there's
visit
a
couple
lot
of
to
good
be done.
libraries which are around us.
I'm so glad
and
to
and
hear
see that.
about the
Yeah, I think
floor at
they're good.
So
Unfortunately, I'm still sitting with a 1950s, Jane knew I would bring it up, 1950s metal desk with stickers on them and everything for the staff, because we're not, we can't move along to get a decent desk in there.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why we need to
And-
have.
Yeah, so that's what I say, as you
And
said,
the-
you get a
Right, we
a
need
line
plan
there,
in place.
And the last part of what I wanted to just add was the use of space for we discussed DVDs. I know that, for example, in Clara Barton, they're about to take them out, or they're not going to, or the tapes that were there, the cassettes, or I was told by someone in Clara Barton, yeah, that the DVDs and the tapes that are there are not going to, or are going to be moved somewhere else. But we discussed this for all of the libraries, whether, you know, whether we see perhaps in 5 years, will DVDs even be needed? I think most of us would agree that it's not. So main branch, for example, when we were looking at, actually, Neville and I discussed it afterwards, it was, there's at least 10 by 15 feet where it's just rows of DVDs that we probably don't need in the main library.
This one can be classified as in that obsolete items, right?
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
Jane can take a look at it.
Well, yeah, we can, but this all ties in together because it's just the use of space that we were looking at. So, weighting the cubic space, you know, how we can reutilize that, as well as perhaps looking into the future and saying we probably don't need DVDs a couple of years from now,
Okay.
if not now.
Yeah,
That was really
what
all.
I'm saying is that a lot of the details we can talk to the library, like director and the staff members, and then we can get a summary findings, and then the board can take the action, right?
So
If we get
Vasanta,
feedback.
Vasanta, I have a question for you. Are you going to be changing the strategic plan and making sure we have one that's up to date so that we can incorporate some changes in all the libraries' design?
Well, I think that, doesn't that come from the?
Yeah, see, right now, see, what was the expectation, right, from the, always from the public and from the board also, that we need to fix the things which are like, today we addressed North Edison floor problem, which was the highly urgent to be fixed,
Yes.
right? Second thing is carpet, we need to fix. Computer, which is already in a progress. Already last time we have spent some money and we are keep spending on money. Books and other thing, what Councilman said, we really appreciate. He wants to go more on micro or, you know, do in a very close way. So to fix it, we can keep it like in that, in a fourth or fifth place that. So that's why I need a list, if you guys can, and you can prioritize, and then board will prioritize it. Okay, based on this, what we had to do. Because these are the basic things we need. We need a good desk for our employees. Some desks are so bad that they have tons of books on top of those desks and they're sitting behind there, which is very risky. So we need to save them also. So we have to find out those areas where we can make more efficient and make them very happy. Their computers are good, then they'll be very happy. They'll feel they're in new generation.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think we'll move on.
Just before we finish with facilities, let's just, all the board members, remember that the librarians are the ones in charge of
Correct.
leading.
Oh, I know that.
We're not involved
I
in
don't want
leading.
to.
We
Okay.
can suggest, oh yes, please
Correct.
make sure that we don't have things that are not
Correct.
moving at all, but no, they are in charge of leading.
Correct, correct. We have to give it to the Jan, and Jan will decide, and she will bring some plan to us, but she needs something from us.
Okay, I think we
Okay,
can
let's
move
move
to
on,
the
y'all.
next
We'll
one.
be here all night. Jeez, it's late.
Yeah. We will go to next to the auditor's report.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Dave. This is Jessica. We're from Listen Company. We have completed your audit for the year ended 12/31/18. You have a copy in front of you. So our responsibility as your independent auditors is to try and express an opinion on the financial statements that you have there based on the audit work that we did. You should know that these financial statements are prepared on the basis of accounting that's prescribed by the Division of Local Government Services It's not a GAAP or a generally accepted accounting principles-based report. It's a report that's based on the regulatory principles that are promulgated by the Division of Local Government Services. So those financial statements are prepared on an OPCO or other basis. So our opinion on the other basis can be found on page 2 of the report, and that's an unmodified opinion on the regulatory basis of accounting. So when an auditor says, that it's an unmodified opinion, that's really our highest form of assurance that we can give that the financial statements that we presented are in accordance with this requirements of the state of New Jersey. So I'm happy to report that's what we reported on page 2. I'll just give you a few quick highlights, financial highlights, and then I'll turn it over to Jess, and she can go over our findings. The library ended 12/31/18 with about $1.2 million in cash in the bank and about $1.8 million of assets. The other $600,000 was receivables both from the township and from the state. You had a fund balance of about $1.6 million, which represents an increase over the prior year of about $315,000. None of those numbers include the $285,000 that you received in a settlement for the bookmobile, which was received on March 5th, 2019. So those are excluding that settlement. Your revenues totaled about $5.6 million, and obviously the largest source of revenues comes from the township. And that township contribution is a statutory contribution, so it's not discretionary, although they could give more if they wanted to, but there's a minimum set by statute, and you receive the minimum. Total revenues in 2017 were about $5.5 million, so the revenues are up about $100,000 over the prior year, mostly resultant from the increase in the municipal contribution because the statutory formula went out. Your expenditures, your budget, were about $5.29 million, and that's almost identical to your 2017 level of expending, which we would expect, and in fact, you were almost level, 5.29 versus 5.33. Largest expenditures that you incur clearly are salaries and benefits, which make up about 74% of the total expenditures that you incurred. And the next largest expense was for, believe it or not, books, which you spent about $320,000 on. I know I went pretty quickly. Just one observation on your discussion you had earlier, that God forbid should those capital expenditures for the repair of the floor go over $17,500, you're required to solicit bids, not solicit quotes. So you have to do the formal bid process, advertise, and go out. So if that number exceeds $17,500, you have a whole other process to follow. Okay, God forbid that.
Keeps us on track.
So scary if we try.
Yeah. So that's it for the financial highlights and the auditor's report. Jess, I'll turn it over to Jess. She can give you the results of our findings.
Hi, good evening. I just want to first draw your attention to page number 4 of our report, just so that you're clear on the definitions in some of these findings. Being a deficiency in internal control, a material weakness, and a significant deficiency. A deficiency in internal control is when the design or operation of a control does not allow management or employees to prevent, detect, or correct misstatements on a timely basis. A material weakness is a deficiency or combination of these in internal control that there's a reasonable possibility that there's a material misstatement of the library's financial statements, and that won't be prevented. And a significant deficiency is a deficiency or a combination in internal control that's less severe, but important enough to merit attention by those charged with governance. I just wanted to make sure, since these words are used in the findings. That being said, there's 10 findings this year, 9 which repeated from last year. Since 9 of them are repeated, I'm going to go over them pretty quickly and just kind of let you guys know what I discussed with Jane and Fran as corrective actions that have been taken in 2019. That being said, we did not audit 2019, so that's why I cannot report on that in this report. I just wanted to let you know that they are working on it, and we did talk about it and different corrective actions that they've put into place, just that nothing that we could audit, because it was not in the year that the audit was on. So the first finding is that library does not have adequate controls in place over cash receipts process. Repeated from last year.
Repeated from the year before, the year before that. was supposed
So
to
they
have been
have
corrected.
now in 2019 added some new controls, including a standardized template for receipts. They reduced the change funds. They're now reconciling the change funds to the LMXAC report, and they're also reconciling that up into QuickBooks.
When did that start?
In 2019, so I can't,
Like, yeah, we wanted to know what month did it start, this is 2019.
was that in January, Fran? Yeah.
Everything was in January.
I don't see no record of it. Go ahead.
Like I said,
No,
I'm just letting you know.
You just keep
Okay.
reading, because I'm finding it interesting.
For the finding number 2 was that there was no adequate controls in place over the cash disbursement process. Again, in 2019, some more controls were done. They've moved more disbursements to the township side rather than flowing through the trustee account, which helps with your controls. They've added different levels of approvals on both the township and the trustee disbursement process that are documented with signature or emails. And there's dual signatures on the checks. Finding number 3 is that there's not adequate controls over the bank reconciliation process. In 2019, the library acquired QuickBooks, a cloud version that communicates directly with your bank. The bank auto uploads a lot of the bank reconciliation into your QuickBooks account. Fran then reviews and adds additional reconciling items that may not have hit the bank, just yet, like outstanding checks, things of that nature. Then she prepares the rec, Jane's reviewing, and they're actually looking into maybe hiring a bookkeeper to be processing this kind of financial work, so they can focus
So
on.
were all checks entered into QuickBooks? All
Oh,
checks
yes.
entered?
Yes.
The fourth finding, which I'm going to speak about the fourth and the sixth together because they kind of go hand in hand. The fourth was that there's not adequate control in place over sick vacation and compensatory days accrual and payouts. And the sixth one is that manual time cards are utilized to substantiate hours worked, and time cards are abstracted to payroll input sheets. There's no evidence of supervisory approval on the time cards. The reason I wanted to talk about these together was because of the improvements made in 2019. The library has been set up to start using the township punch card system, well, punch system, I think it's biometric. I'm not sure if they've started using it, but they were set up to use it. They had pushed back their start date a few times, but in the meantime, their manual time card system now includes signing off by supervisors who are responsible for tracking the sick, vacation, and comp time. Heidi down at the main branch is also taking that information and recording it into a logbook for the time being. And then once they're up and running with the town, they'll figure out a new way to be logging all that information.
It'll be automatic.
Yeah, it'll be
through the system.
automatic. And finding number 5 is about encumbrance accounting and local public contracts law. Payments were made without purchase orders Payments were made with purchase orders that were, why am I having this? Accounts were, oh, okay. Payments were made without purchase orders and constitute confirming orders.
It's a confirming order. It's when you buy something and then issue a purchase order after the fact. That's what a confirming order is. The statutes say you have to issue a purchase order, make sure there's funds available, make sure the director approves the purchase, then go get the stuff. We found instances where the stuff was purchased and then a purchase order was cut.
And
That's
the
backwards.
director has to approve the purchase.
The director has to approve the
Yeah.
purchase order first. A lot of times it's unavoidable, like certain circumstances, you can't avoid it. You need to go buy something, there's not time to cut a purchase order, the bathroom sink is leaking, you gotta go fix it. We
Right,
understand that, but we saw more than that, and that's why we made the recommendation.
Okay.
And also 7 items were not made in conformity with New Jersey local public contracts law. As said before, with the disbursement improvements in 2019, the purchase orders on both the township side and the trustee side now have another level of approval. The confirming orders were not as prevalent towards the end of the year. When we did testing, as far as the local public contracts law goes, as we just discussed, the bids have to be done for $17,500, and then quotes need to be made for any purchases over $2,625. So when we spoke, a process was being put into place for the quotes, but the bids were the entire 2019.
Okay, so you just said quotes for anything over
$625.
So I apologize, but this is in my head now. Going back to the bill listing for, what was the name of that company that you were? Zenith, that was for over $4,000. Did we have quotes for that? Jane? If we need quotes for anything over 2,600, did we have quotes for that Zenith? It speaks right to what you're speaking about.
Right, there are certain exceptions to the local public contracts law, like professional services. Anyone with a license, like a lawyer, myself, are exempt from the local public contracts law. So it's conceivable that those were exempt.
An IT person?
IT computers purchasing.
But would they be licensed?
They have to be licensed in the state of New Jersey.
And like the purchase of computers wouldn't fall under that.
Yeah.
But if
No,
it was
this is just the setup of it.
Most likely that would be a violation.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to see if they are also not, if it was purchased under state contract, if it was purchased under co-op. There's
We also gotta
different.
be careful about getting snow removal quotes too this year.
Yeah, that was one of the quotes that we saw were not.
Yeah, that was not last year.
Yep.
There's quite a few of those actually.
So it's just something to keep in mind going forward, can't change the past.
So basically, best practices would be to err on the side of getting quotes if you're not sure.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
If you're not sure if it's exempt, there is a list of exemptions in the law. They specifically spell out what you do not
Would you
have
be able
to.
to provide us with that list?
But yeah, I can
Yeah,
provide you a
sure.
copy of the law.
It's in statute.
That would be helpful, thank you.
I have one.
I apologize for interrupting. I
Oh,
just
it's
wanted to
okay.
jump on
Carry
and make
on.
sure we were on the same
Carry
page
on.
and understand,
Yeah.
you know.
Carry on,
Yeah.
time is going.
Yeah, I have one question. In the assets, do we consider the depreciation also?
Do we consider the
Depreciation?
depreciation?
Mm-hmm.
No. If these financial statements do not include depreciation because the assets are those of the township. So it's incumbent upon the township to record depreciation on their assets. They are,
Right.
the buildings are not your assets.
But this building's cost, what he's saying, it's the township's building, so depreciation is the township defines, so our asset should reduce every year, right? With the
Sorry.
depreciation.
I didn't hear what you said.
He asked me if depreciation is included within the financial statements. My answer is no, they're not included in financial statements because they're not assets of the library, they're assets
Okay,
of the
yeah, they're in
township.
our audit then, yeah.
Okay, so means every year,
I'm
if
sorry,
we
I
are
have
saying,
to-
just I wanted to make sure that a township is considering and giving us, we are not showing the false assets in our record.
Right, and
That's
just so
what
you
I'm
know,
saying.
New Jersey municipalities do not need to record depreciation either.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, carry on.
All right, that brings us to finding number 7, that the library does not maintain formal petty cash or change funds. By formal, I mean that there needs to be a formal board resolution approving petty cash and change funds. When we spoke, we said that this needs to be done on an annual basis, and the best time to do it is at your reorganization meeting to pass these resolutions for this petty cash and change fund. The change funds at each of the branches have been limited to lower amounts in 2019. They also got new lock boxes, and the change funds are locked and counted on a nightly basis.
The amount is 100?
It differed by library.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finding number 8, the library does not maintain a general ledger. When the library purchased QuickBooks, they instituted a general ledger in 2019. Finding number 9, that there's no formalized agreement with the township for the splits.
Don't say anything, Lisa, don't say a word.
At the end of 2018, Fran did meet with the township to discuss the splits. So we're just recommending that it's reduced to writing, that every year.
You mean like $110,000 a year for gas?
Whatever it is, as long as there's a written agreement that we can audit, we'll be happy. You guys determine what it is.
I haven't looked at the splits since 14 or changed them.
The splits need to be looked at.
No, carry on, because they'll be the
Carry
splits
on.
in 4 more hours.
And the only new finding is finding number 10, the employee termination process. What we're saying is the library does not have adequate, or did not have adequate controls in place over employee terminations. It's basically that there wasn't any financial policies or procedures in place to safeguard assets and information upon employee termination. As you know, there was an instance where your old QuickBooks file was deleted when you had to buy the new software. You did buy the cloud-based, and the users are limited. So in 2019, that helps mitigate the risk, but you still should have a formal policy in place as far as when an employee is terminated, either by the library or by themselves, and that their access is restricted for pertinent records and assets to protect themselves.
2 other quick points that you mentioned earlier. One, you're thinking about transferring banks, or you may have approved, didn't approve, fund going to a new bank. Just if you do go to a new bank, you have to approve it by resolution of the board, and it has to be a bank that is approved by the GUDPA, Government Unit Deposit Protection Act. There's a list on the website that of all the banks that have GUDPA protection. GUDPA is
Say that again, government.
GUDPA, Government Unit GUDPA.
Unit.
Government Unit Deposit Protection Act. And basically what that does is safeguard your deposits from a bank failure. It's a state program, it's never been tested, but it's there, and the state mandates that any bank you use has to be a participant in the GUDPA program. The other thing is, I became aware that you are considering usage of a credit card.
That was my question.
Credit
That
cards
was
are
my
prohibited.
Yes, that's what I
Our
was
attorney
going to
advised
ask
us
that.
it was fine.
You can get a credit card for Home Depot, like a store credit card. Lowe's, but you can't get a Visa or a
yeah, no, we don't
MasterCard.
know.
No.
Okay, so I just want
Lowe's
to,
and one other.
Amazon.
I don't know about Amazon.
That was the question.
Amazon probably, I would err on the side of no.
Right, Lowe's is all
Lowe's,
right.
Home Depot, yes, fine.
Amazon, no.
Any questions?
No, I
Good night.
pretty thorough.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And you're gonna send us the information?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to Jane, and she can distribute it to the
Yeah,
board.
that will be nice.
Is that okay?
Yeah, as soon as
Okay.
possible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, what is next? Let me go to the.
The auditors had time to review that a little bit more before they came in though.
Element AC, bylaws approval.
Where is that page? I missed it.
What's the next one?
Hey, the budget report, next, next
No,
report.
Oh, here we go, right here. We're right here.
I'll never finish.
No, budget report, we didn't do it.
Yeah, we
We
skipped
did
that
the
one.
budget
We
report.
skipped the budget report, we didn't approve it? How?
Can we do it now?
So Jane, excuse me, Jane, going forward.
Yeah, this is budget report we are doing.
Is it
This
according
one.
to them anything over 2,600,
Well, they have
800?
exams, so like.
Right, so
I asked
find
the-
out what they.
yeah, that's what I, like the
Exactly.
computer equipment.
IT's not exempt.
But
No, because it's a
computer is
service.
exempt.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay,
Right?
so if IT is not exempt, then you're going to have to going forward get quotes.
Yeah, I think.
But
What do you mean, advertisement or?
Maureen,
Do
do you remember it was,
However that needs to be.
and Sarah said Okay.
Sarah said it.
Okay, I just want, okay.
But it's,
Okay.
we'll just do it next time. Like I said, we gotta. It's not,
Are we going to, oh, we're taking a break or?
Excuse me, are we on break?
No.
Oh, let's keep going. It's getting late.
Yeah, we are on the budget
Yeah.
report, right? Any question on the budget report?
Where are we now?
Budget
That-
report.
I'm so confused now because we've been jumping back and forth, back and
Yeah.
forth, so I'm kinda like.
We were up to
That page. I'm confused.
Okay.
Budget
No, no.
report,
So
any-
this is it right here. This is, we should be, why don't we run down this real quick and then we'll go to the budget. Let's run down this real quick. LMAC, okay.
Bylaw approval, okay, obsolete item, okay.
Any question from anyone on the budget report, please? No?
I have a motion to approve this budget report.
I don't think we need to approve.
Oh, we don't need to approve? Okay.
We don't have to approve.
Okay,
We don't
let's
have to
go to the
approve.
next
We'll go
one.
next.
Yeah. All right, we go to the LMAC
Yeah,
bylaws
after-
approval.
Somebody.
So she did that already.
Oh.
We did the auditor's report.
Yes.
We jumped ahead and did some other things.
LMAC.
We did facilities, that's done.
LMIC bylaw approval.
Bylaw approval.
Bylaw team?
Well, we didn't do the LMXAC bylaws approval.
Okay.
Yes, that's what
Has
we are
everybody
talking.
had a chance to look at it?
I
I'd
don't
like
think
to-
I had enough time to look at it yet, but.
Oh, well, it's the LMXAC bylaws.
Okay.
And that's the organization that we participate in the libraries of Middlesex County.
Yeah, they're collecting the comments from all these libraries participating.
You talking about this particular paper?
Yes, that's we're
They're
going to.
updating
we're
their
going to-
bylaws like we should do.
we
When
should-
is it due by?
Is it this month? We're
Oh.
going to give, yeah, that's why it is almost.
Oh, that's why it's
Next
all-
week, we have the LMAX meeting together, so we're going to move
Could
forward
we,
with this.
This is just.
get our, any changes that we want
Honestly,
changed
this
to
is-
We can't do anything with
Oh,
this.
that's
This is not
just
our.
what
That's not
This
ours,
is
yeah,
this
that's,
is
they
just-
want, they just want all the trustees to review,
No, this
to
is
see
for us
if
to
you have
review.
any
This is not for us.
comments.
We can't approve or disapprove. This is just for our
If you have
reading.
any suggestions,
Read it.
or let me know, so I can
This is
tell
the
them,
draft.
tell the directors.
Okay.
It's fine by me.
I read it. It
Yeah,
looks
please.
reasonable.
How's it look, Ben?
It looks
Yeah,
reasonable.
and I think we need to upgrade our bylaw too.
We do.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we can,
Slowly but surely.
So-
we can read this
The
and,
LMXAC
Okay, let's go
bylaws.
read it and then provide it later on.
yeah.
All in
we can-
favor?
Okay, we can move past that. We can go to obsolete items.
Obsolete
Let's go to
item.
obsolete items. Let's go to there.
Are you approving
We
the
are doing the
bylaws?
opposite, we did, already did the elementary.
Did we vote on it?
We don't have to, she said.
Okay.
She said it's just for our review. It's not to be voted on, correct?
Or if you have any objections or whatever.
If you don't like it.
Yeah, if you don't like it, let me know.
Items we just read.
Which one you would.
Okay,
you
let's
think
go to
is-
the obsolete items, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we need to.
Okay, go ahead, then we'll do the next.
Just
We don't need to
feedback.
vote on
Yeah.
obsolete items either. We just need to see attachment. It's all good.
Okay, let's,
Okay, what is next? We have,
obsolete item.
anyone has any question on absolute item?
No?
A lot of stuff goes to the garbage and so.
Yeah, it's like very old, like
Nobody's paying attention.
1999.
Let's move ahead.
All right, let's
I
move
need a
ahead.
hammer.
Jane, we believe you.
Yes.
Let's move ahead.
Auction an IBM typewriter?
Yeah. Can we go ahead if
Yes.
nobody has any objection?
Nobody has objection to the obsolete items? I say okay.
No objections.
Okay, let's
good.
go ahead.
Who's the trustee policy committee?
Here.
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right. We have been charged with developing or revising quite a few policies. We have two that are ready to be read. One is the meeting rooms policy. You have seen this draft before, but it is now revised with the updated numbers that Jane received from the fire marshal for the meeting rooms. And the second one is the tutoring policy draft. So If you want me to read this very quickly,
Go ahead.
I will do that, because I think we have to have a reading.
I think, yeah, we can have.
I think it has to be read into the.
In previous years, we were told it has to be read aloud. Well, you know what?
Pat, I have a,
It has to be read aloud, or can we?
What are we talking about?
I have a comment on the tutoring policy before we vote on the tutoring policy.
You should
Yeah.
read it aloud if you're gonna vote on it.
The reason is that we discussed this one like maybe around 2 years ago. My point is that in general, library should not allow commercial activities, but underline, I mean, the tutoring is in a like a kind of vague area that it's difficult for us to like remove them from the library, right?
Yes.
So the reason is that I'm thinking we should not have a tutoring policy, because if we have a policy here,
It will
I
become
think it
official.
implies that we are allowing the tutoring there.
I
So
agree.
that's my thought
Well,
on this one.
That is a good point, but the reason why we were developing a tutoring policy is if you look at other libraries throughout New Jersey, they all have a very simple tutoring policy that they understand that it's a public place and that, you know, the public is welcome to use it. We can hold off on reading this if you'd like and just focus on the meeting rooms policy. And maybe,
Okay.
Jane, you can discuss the tutoring policy
With the other-
with the staff.
Mm-hmm.
And-
With staff and also
Yes.
get some of
Is
the
that-
from
is
other
that all right
labs.
with you?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I will do
Okay, and
it.
just so I'll quickly read the
That'd be
meeting
great.
rooms
Yeah.
policy.
Okay.
And, okay. The Edison Township Free Public Library adheres to Article 6 of the Library Bill of Rights adopted by the American Libraries Association Council and endorsed by the New Jersey Library Association. Article 6 states libraries which make exhibit spaces and meeting rooms available to the public they serve should make such facilities available on an equitable basis, regardless of the beliefs or affiliations of individuals or groups requesting their use. An interpretation of the Library Bill of Rights is stated in the NJLA Intellectual Freedom Manual as follows. If meeting rooms in libraries supported by public funds are made available to the general public for non-library sponsored events, the library may not exclude any group based on the subject matter to be discussed or based on the ideas that the group advocates. Therefore, use of the meeting room does not constitute library or township endorsement of the viewpoints, beliefs, ideas, or policies expressed by the organizations or individuals using the space. One meeting room is located at each of the following locations, and that's Main Library, North Edison Branch, Clara Barton Branch. The capacity at Main Library is 54, North Edison 49, Clara Barton 33. Those were the numbers that were just updated by the fire marshal.
Okay.
Rules and regulations for use of library meeting room. Organizations who desire to use the meeting room are required to complete the application form. Application forms are available online or at the Main Library, North Edison Branch, and Clara Barton Branch. The library staff will notify the organization that authorization for the use of the building has been granted. Applicable restrictions will be noted. Applications must be submitted early for the desired date and time to be granted. Bookings may be limited. Buildings are in constant demand and priority is established in the order of the application, that the applications are received. Library activities, and this moves up to number 2, library activities will take precedent over the allocation of rooms to organizations. The library reserves the right to cancel any authorization in the interest of need for library purposes. In all publicity or announcements relating to a meeting room event, the Edison Public Library may only be mentioned as a location, not as a sponsor of an event or as the headquarters of an organization. Library staff retains the right to attend any scheduled meeting or event at the library to ensure compliance of the room usage. Meeting rooms may not be used for the purpose of religious workshop or instruction.
Worship.
Worship or instruction. Meeting rooms are not available for social gatherings. With the exception of library-sponsored events, no admission fees or service fees may be charged, no donations solicited, nor items sold.
Okay.
A representative of the sponsoring organization must report to the librarian in charge of the library at the time of arrival, notify the librarian in charge when the meeting has ended, and report the number of event attendees. Organizations shall establish necessary measures to conform with the following regulations of the library. Room setup and cleanup. Groups are responsible for their own setup of chairs, tables, etc., and must return the room to the condition in which it was found before leaving. Organizations shall be responsible for cleaning up any trash, litter, or refuse left as a direct result of their activities. This includes dishes, garbage, paper, tidiness of meeting rooms and bathrooms, etc. Groups must reimburse the library for any damage that occurs to library furniture, equipment, facility, or grounds. Audiovisual equipment. The Edison Public Library has built-in AV equipment and free wireless internet available for presentations. Presenters must use their own laptop to connect to the library's equipment. Arrangements may be made in advance for an introductory session on using the library's AV equipment, since library staff may not be available for technical support at the time of the program. Supervision. Buildings shall be made available only to responsible adult groups that will provide supervision of all participants at activities. Adult sponsors are responsible for the behavior of the group as well as for the protection of the building and its contents. Meetings held at Main Library North Edison Branch or Clara Barton Branch must end 15 minutes prior to closing. Groups must adhere to the library code of conduct that includes the supervision of children and not interfere with normal library operation. Policies are available at the desk or online if clarification is needed. Smoking, vaping, consumption of alcoholic beverages, use of candles or incendiary devices, and cooking is prohibited in the library or meeting room. Organizations shall inform all members of their staff and all members of their audiences of this prohibition and take necessary steps to ensure compliance. Vehicles. Vehicles must be legally parked. Compliance failure. Failure to comply with the rules and regulations of the library will result in the denial of the use of the library for further occasions. Fees. The library fees will be charged for the use, the following fees will be charged for the use of the library meeting rooms and must be paid before using the rooms. Fees may be waived for library-affiliated organizations at the discretion of the director. Nonprofit organizations, $35 per use. Profit-making organizations, $75 per use.
When you talk on the fee, I just want to ask you one quick question. If I have a sewing class, which other libraries have, and I have children in it, do I still have to pay that $35 fee?
Well, some of these recommendations were directly from staff, and that is why that section is put in. Yes, that's why we were removing the one area and just saying fees may be waived for library-affiliated organizations, depending on if they were affiliated.
Because this particular group is affiliated with different libraries around the state, this sewing group.
Right.
So I needed some type of answer or something to bring back to a person, so I wanted to see, does that encompass that with the $35 fee?
It may, and I think the staff would have to be the ones to answer that question, because that's what we were trying to have clarification. And we do have, we did include a description of nonprofit organizations and for-profit organizations that is included in many New Jersey library meeting rooms policies.
I would like Jane to check with the libraries in New Jersey to see who offers that sewing group and what's the fee, because up to now I've gotten from the libraries I've asked, they don't charge those.
Okay, and that's quite possible that that would happen here, because we did put that in, fees may be waived.
I don't
Okay.
think we charge them now for those meeting group, we don't charge, it's sponsored by the library.
No, but I just want you to check the other one, so I want us to be in compliance with other libraries in New Jersey. If they're doing it, they're sewing thing, let's do it too.
What about shoes? Remember we had the problem with a group with shoes? That they have to wear shoes? Like there was a meditation group and they all left their shoes out at the side of the...
All I can tell, well, let me continue reading this, okay. Check should be made and then we have the description of definition of nonprofit organizations and for-profit organizations. Check should be made should be made payable to the Edison Township Free Public Library and submitted with the application.
Okay.
Cancellations. Any cancellation of a meeting room reservation must be made 5 business days before the scheduled meeting date. If the organization cancels a room reservation less than 5 business days prior to their scheduled date, the meeting room fee shall revert to the library. Library closings. In the event that the library must close due to equipment failure or inclement weather, all efforts will be made to notify the contact person listed on the meeting room application. During adverse weather conditions, the group should call the library or check the library's website or Facebook page for updates. Organizations scheduled to use a meeting room when there is an emergency closing may choose to have their fee returned or applied to another date. Okay, so this is our initial
I like
reading. Good, so
Yeah. So
there is...
one thing just I wanted to ask, maybe I have missed if it is mentioned there, the insurance is required, right?
Yes,
Yeah, it is
insurance is
insurance.
required.
Yes.
Yes, insurance is required.
I
And it
like
says,
this.
and there is
It
a
is,
link to
yeah,
that.
I must have.
Okay, all right. It sounds pretty good so far, so we got a couple
Okay.
more readings to it. and then-
So, and then there was a mention, possibly you can ask about shoes. I don't know whether we need to have anything.
It happened to one program, the people leave the shoes outside of the room. They enter the room without shoes.
Well, but I think that's just a library policy in general.
It's a
I don't think
library
it means
policy.
it needs to be a meeting room
But,
policy.
no, you can put
No,
on pads, it's not total. you can
normal
put on
insurance
pads.
for the safety, if
Normally
anything
when people do
happens
that, they put on
with
those
the
little socks.
group,
Oh,
They put on those little socks.
$1 million
They don't put on
insurance
pads.
we normally,
Now, just request
at this
for the
time,
next
non-profit
meeting that you
organization, $1 million
integrate all the changes
insurance
so
we
don't see
ask.
cross-outs.
You mean this one? I thought we can prove this.
we have to approve first. before
No,
we-
don't, but I think before we approve it, we need to see the whole thing integrated so we know that it's integrated properly.
Right.
Okay.
So
Good.
all
So
I'm
you
asking
see-
is
you
that
don't
instead
see
of,
the
instead
cross-outs.
of us seeing the
Okay.
cross-outs next time,
What next?
integrate it so that we
What
can
do
see
you
what the
next?
finished product will look like, so
What
when
do
we
you
read it,
next?
we see that the finished what the actual thing is, so that if there are any typos, et cetera, we can catch them.
Can we do that before it's approved?
I think we can
What do you mean?
prove first.
Can we,
This is a
can,
red line, right?
yeah, if we do this thing, can we take out, like now we know that this blue part is new.
Right.
Okay.
And that the strikeouts are in the existing policy but are
Okay.
being removed.
Okay.
Can we just do a clean copy before the meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, do a clean
Okay.
copy.
Okay.
I think it'll help us to see what it really looks like instead of
Yes.
trying to figure
Okay.
out around the cross-outs.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
What next we have?
Or we can just approve it, and if there is any revision, we'll just do it later
Okay,
on.
so we're holding
Anyway.
off.
Okay, let's move along, let's
You
move
see the
along, let's
complete
move.
thing,
Move,
because
move.
You cannot
Let's
tell
move.
the difference, you don't know
Trustee
which part
policy
you
committee is
change.
done, I believe.
All right, let's go to
That's what
bookmobile
we had
committee.
this- we had it
They
this
have
time.
to-
Oh, you have
Trustee,
like a comparison.
PC,
I have
and
next
It's
time.
after 9, can we get to the bookmobile?
Book map, mobile
This is the first.
committee.
Do we have to like approve, it, or do we just close this first reading and then we can?
Just the first reading, we could approve
Okay.
this next time.
Yeah, we can, yeah, we can
Clean
approve
copy
it.
next
Yeah.
time.
Right,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
but we saw the
We
changes
can,
this time. so we
yeah,
don't-
we'll go to the
Yes.
bookmobile committee.
The bookmobile committee does not have a report this time, Neville is not here, so we have to put
Okay.
that on hold till next
That's fine.
October.
Okay, public comment will cause the issue. Okay, anyway, we'll go next.
Do we have announcements?
I do.
Announcement.
Yeah, before we go to public opinion, because now for the Library Construction Bond Act, we are now, we need to collect the the public opinion, so you can move forward to apply for the grant. So if I'm collecting the public opinion for the Construction Bond Act. So Esther, if you have any comments, you're more than welcome to give us any suggestions. And
what is this for?
For the grant construction bond. So I think we don't have this like for 20 more years, don't have this, it's first time. Like all the very competitive, all the libraries want to apply for this. So right now it's going very slowly. I think maybe next year they can have the really, but right now we are on the progress. So now is the time to collect the public opinion.
The public data, so do
And
you use
also,
Facebook
maybe
and
we
different
need to
things?
have an architect pre-sale to discuss what we're going to do, how much we're going to spend, when we do
That's
the renovation.
excellent. Okay.
Yeah, that
Excellent.
will be great.
Right.
So,
Okay. All right. Anything else? Let's go to
Public
public comment.
Public comment, please.
One things that I heard Fran whispering too, is we had the same problem over at North about people using the meeting room, taking their shoes off and walking around the meeting room.
That's what I was talking about.
But
I was talking about
think
your
that's,
group.
shouldn't that be covered under, that it's a health issue in any public
I
building?
think shoes, and it's part of our, it's part of
Regular
our
policy.
policy, and we do have it in here that
Okay.
they must adhere to.
It's part of the building.
Yeah, so, okay.
But see, I don't know if they're gonna get into a gray area. Can they wear their socks in there?
No, I believe the policy states, shoes must be worn. It's a health, it's.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying they probably take the shoes off when they get inside if they're doing the meditation
Yeah,
thing.
well,
I'm
we
just saying, that what you're saying is now don't leave them in the hall, just hide them in the corner.
I think a lot of times what they do is they have the mats when they
Yes.
go in, and not to say too much if you're on the mat, but if you, I try to tell parents too, if they come into my programs and the kids have bare feet or they take their shoes off and walk, and I said you can't do that. First of all, you're gonna step on a staple
Yeah.
from the last program, you're
Yeah.
gonna get hurt. It's a health issue, it's a public building, it's not your home. You do need to put your shoes on, so I think that's why I had a question, on the capacity and everything, because always in the past, there was one capacity if you had tables and chairs, and another capacity if it was just chairs.
Yes, well, we discussed this.
this time they only have one.
We discussed this, and the fire marshal only provided these numbers. Now, other libraries, in their meeting rooms policy, they do only have the occupancy, numbers. But we previously had a breakdown with tables
Yeah,
and.
because I remember we had them on the wall, because
Yes.
I've had programs where I've had 80 kids. Because it said North Edison could have 104 if they just had chairs or they were sitting on the floor. But if tables and chairs were provided, I could only have 50 people.
Right, and now it's 49.
Now it's
So-
49.
That's
So that's gonna
significantly-
really cut back on my capacity that I'll be reporting for programs.
Okay, I think
I
you
had a
can,
magician and I had 98 people in that room.
yeah, I think you can talk to director and maybe get the township help for the
Maybe get back to
capacity,
the
right?
fire marshal.
The
and
fire
see-
marshal won't change the amount, it's by law and dimension.
Yes, but there's always been a difference between whether you're using tables and chairs or you're just using
I
chairs.
can ask him to double check, but
Yeah.
he's pretty
Because all the
helpful.
years, the 38 years I've been here,
Been
there's
doing
always
this a
been
long
2
time.
separate numbers provided,
I'll ask
depending
him
on.
again. but I
Yeah,
don't-
so, okay, that's all I wanted to question.
Anyone else, please?
Good evening, Esther Nemitz, 162B Fay Street. Well, first of all, I'm disappointed that there's no report from the committee regarding the bookmobile. And secondly, I had expected that I would hear something from the Facilities Committee about Clara Barton, and unfortunately, I did not hear
We
anything.
do have it on the agenda, we haven't talked about that, so we skip it for some reason. Yeah, Rob is here. Maybe
Rob
you
has
can
got
go
the stuff.
first and then we can talk about that. We have this on the agenda.
We have
For the
we have the information on that one. Yeah, the Clarida button, right?
Well, I haven't heard anything.
No, for the facility committee, they are still working on to make the list. That's why we discussed, and most probably by next meeting, they will give it.
Listen, for 10 years, we have been waiting to get these repairs done. Over 10 years, there have been 2 different engineers that have come in and done extensive reports on what is needed to do repairs to the Clara Barton Library. There is no longer any excuse for not getting on with getting the repairs done. I was at least happy to hear John Soltes tonight, who is our construction official, say that he is going to at least go and look at the windows, okay? I don't know why he's going to look at the windows, but at least he's going to look at the windows. I would like to ask specifically that those 2 reports that were presented to the township, and I know that they are in the possession of our business administrator, if she would kindly send to John Soltes copies of those 2, if he's got them, I hope that he is going to deal with all of the issues there, and that by the October meeting, we will hear something specific about getting those different kinds of repairs done. I'm very frustrated. I'm very frustrated and disappointed, and at least now that John has been here, I have some hope, and I'm disappointed that the Facilities Committee did not address it. And I thank you very much, and I'm particularly grateful to the chairman for sounding like he wanted to get a list of these things, okay? And I'm hoping it will be on the next agenda specifically. So I thank you very kindly for your interest in this, and I hope that the next time we will hear something about the bookmobile. Let me just say about the bookmobile, if getting 2 smaller vehicles is going to delay our forward progress, let's at least get 1. We got the money, it was given back to us by the prior company that we went to court with. The money is sitting there, there's no reason why we can't spend it. We just need to get on with it. People in town should have their books. They're not getting their books. This has been well over a year now that they're not getting their books. If you want to drive people away from the library, don't give them these services. This is the way to do that. That's not what we want to accomplish here. We want to give these people the services that they look for. The one service that they really used in this town was the bookmobile, and we need to get on with it. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wants to speak? No? Okay.
I just want to clarify as to what you had said, that the first thing the facilities report included was that we needed to take care of the problem at North Edison and the issue at Clara Barton. So we are fully aware, and it has nothing to do with the list of design options or plans for upgrades. That's been the forefront of the Facilities Committee, that those 2 issues are taken care of. The floor at North Edison and the windows or flooded, roof, whatever is needed at Clara Barton. So that was not ignored.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So now, thank you very much for everyone attending.
Thank you.
Now we will go to the closed session. Can we have motion
Can
to
I,
closed session?
you don't anticipate taking any action on anything when you come out of closed session, do you?
No.
No.
No, okay. Just for Eddie's sake.
Yeah, so we can, so motion,
Yeah.
yeah, motion
Go home.
to
Motion.
move on to the,
No, okay.
okay, go ahead.
I was gonna ask the one thing about the board secretary, but it works 30 hours, can I give her the paper so she can put that out
No.
for Friday?
I'd like it
No.
under that, or you're gonna get into benefits problems.
No,
The hours,
how much under that, 20?
25?
Okay, 25 is
I think
perfect.
25 is good.
Okay, is 25 good with everybody?
Is 25 per month, that's an awful lot per month.
No,
For-
No, it's per month, for the whole month.
a week.
It's
is-
$5
I
a week.
understand.
No, no, I understand that, but
Yeah.
we only meet once a month, so to,
But she has to look at all the film and stuff and write it up the correct way. how
I
it's
understand,
done.
but we don't, but
And-
as
No,
as
we
long
don't
as
need
our
to hire
meetings are
somebody
not
for that.
25,
Let's
not
do it
20
for
hours.
example. We
Yeah,
need to hire
but,
somebody for that.
but we also have
It
private
doesn't take me
sessions.
that long.
Right,
Yeah, so how long you stay in
I am-
private?
right, but we're still, we're not here for 10 hours.
We don't need to hire somebody for that.
Well, I need to have the minutes correct, so I
I
can.
agree, but I think the number of hours
So you
is-
want it down to 10 hours?
I can't imagine why we'd even need 10.
I don't even think we need to
I
hire
don't know
somebody
that
for
we
that.
necessarily
I think
need
let's
this.
do this way, like Jen can try to figure out like whether can.
But we need a secretary.
Secretary.
We need an actual
Board secretary?
secretary.
That's what.
Who is our board secretary?
Yeah, he
We
should.
don't have a board secretary.
No.
We do. Well, we
Yeah,
do
but-
have
but
a.
We used to have
have
a
a-
confidential secretary, we do
Not
not
a
have.
confidential secretary, we have a board secretary.
Yes.
We
Right,
do have a
right.
board secretary. Who is our board
Oh,
secretary?
actually, we do have a board
Neville.
secretary.
Neville is the
our
board
secretary.
secretary.
No, yeah.
Neville is the board secretary.
Yeah, but I'm trying to avoid that if he writes them his way, and if the other person writes them their way, and if you have somebody that's impartial, they're just gonna write them.
No, I think
I think
we.
that's a little too sudden.
I think let the Neville do one or two time and then we will decide.
And
Let him do
ours
it, you know.
is-
It's
Why should we
ridiculous.
spend money?
We,
Then you won't spend time arguing about the minutes, saying, well, I didn't say that, this one didn't say that, this one said.
It doesn't happen all that often, just once in a while it happens. It hasn't happened very much this year at all, that there has been a discrepancy on the minutes. This
Yeah.
just happens to be one that, you know, I know.
Well, on the
we
film
picked
and
up
on the minutes and on the
You know?
closed session, there's all been just like
They-
sketchy. Well, my problem, because I'm used to the other guy we had, so I got everything precise and
what other guy?
can't think of him now.
Can we go
No,
for
no,
closed session,
Let's go
please,
to the
girls?
closed session, let's discuss this one.
You know who used to
You're
do all the
already
minutes before?
9:30.
Christine.
Not Christine, the other one before Christine.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Oh, I can't think of her
Let this.
name.
His name.
No, we
I
didn't
think
have
we
an
can discuss
Can we-
this.
Yeah,
later.
let's do it,
He was-
think about it, and
Okay,
discuss it the next time.
Evan was the assistant director, he did not write the minutes.
Can,
Evan
Okay.
never
Going
wrote the
into
minutes.
executive session?
yeah, yeah. I think
But
we
now
should
we
have
have
a
it on
vote
video.
Second.
Yeah.
But Evan never
To
wrote.
go out of the open session and go to the closed session.
Okay.
Because these girls cannot stop.
Okay.
Yeah, but he gave me
Eat on
Yeah,
camera.
let's close down. You guys can talk offline maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you guys can talk.
Okay, let's go,
Let's
let's
go to
go to
closed
closed
session.
session, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Where?
Motion to go to closed
So
session?
moved.
So moved.
Move. Yeah. All in favor? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Thank you.
We stay here.
Thank you.
Have you still some?
Yeah.
We're gonna
Thank
stay
you
here.
very much.
Camera, we can all see our faces.